They changed their trapwire setups towards the C site though, still standard garage one and kill trap for Margaret at the back of the site where, you know, maybe Primy's been TPing into, or you've got it from the shadows from Die. Ooh. At the moment though, Dimensional Drift, you know, it definitely could be an angle for Primy to pop that and gather all the info.
Slowly. At least to throw the utility down to bait reactions out from Nongshim, if anything.
It's good timing actually on the dark cover. Spotted out Ivy and you just found him.
Once again, Jit Boys slip through the cage and spots Damby's back as he tried to reposition. Now Thigh creates some pressure onto C. If you're Nongshim, where do you rotate? You're not entirely sure. Neural Theft comes in as well, and oh, Killua, don't do it. Don't, no. Oh! Another kill! Just Francis left, and you just feel it's like you're down in the dumps.
It's timing and understanding at the moment from Talon. No one's really overstepping from them. They're being very patient, aggressive when they need to. The lurks from Jit Boys have been sensational. The timing from Killua there, impeccable. They are kind of just not faltering on this attacking side really at all. Not giving Nongshim a chance to set up for any of these ultimates because they're removing these pieces really early on. I mean, you just look at the positioning and pathing that Jit Boys does around the cage, finding all the information. You can't falter them.
You just have to hand it to Talon on this one. I mean, on this Haven map, they've got everything almost perfected.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful recovery from last week's games. You know, I kind of have to bring that one up.
They've read the script.
Yes.
Talon have read the script at the moment. I'm looking like a fool on my prediction with the way things are going here.
Right?
But
both timeouts being called down in the first half.
I mean, you've got to. Like, if you're considering that this could blow out to an 11-1.
Yeah, that's a thing. But, you know, if there's anything to look forward to, you do have the next upcoming map. We were talking about the map veto. There's still a decent chance. I know the mental game can be affecting Nongshim quite a bit right now.
Are we already thinking about Pearl? Is that the scenario that we're at right now?
You look at the scoreline.
Yeah,
Tell me.
but it's first half. You know, they could turn the monitors on.
We were also kind of theorizing that the second half with Nongshim on this composition would kind of work against the whole Davy Neon thing,
correct.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're seeing, you know, what the change up of the sides will do, you're going to be expecting crews to be at the A site more often than not with a lot of these deeper sensors to stop any TP aggressions to come on out. You'd need some good shock darts from Ivy. And I mean, we've not really seen the utility be successful for Nongshim at the moment, right? We're thinking about combo moves, we're thinking about fault lines and darts and getting Darby activated. None of it's really been able to come into play. You're looking at this round again, and it's the same, you know, spots essentially for Nongshim. Slight difference in the fact that you've got Francis more towards B yet again like last round, but you've got Danby going down the sewers instead of long.
I don't mind it too much. At least they're still trying to work with what they've got, right? Breaking the camera.
Yeah, but it's playing into Talon's hands. They're happy to play very passive at the beginning of the round, wait for any oversteps because they're hitting their shots. Their first bullet accuracy in this map so far has been impeccable. And this is about the time in the round. They've used the drone. They see, all right, Ivy's over towards the A side again. Danby's probably going to be here.
Speaking of first bullet accuracy, that's all at the hands of Primy as well as Jit Boys right now. And both of these players are around this A site. You got 3 from Nongshim though, and they're going to peek into Primy at any point. There it is.
Finally, there's an opening frag the way of Nongshim. They've taken down the raid boss in Primy. With 40 seconds to go, you're pivoting to this C site. You're tempting with Margaret. Francis is there. They could deploy a Rolling Thunder with 30 seconds to go to stave off this round.
Very good chance for it. Oh, Francis, what's the call, though? He's already hovering around site. He's up towards logs right now. Persia finds one down middle. Armageddon rips through as well. And there's the Rolling Thunder. Timing now, 20 seconds left.
Yeah, and Die, of course, no ultim as well, so they are locked in to stay at their C site.
Oh, boy. All of them holding these grand positions. The call has been made to go for a save instead. Jit Boys, though, still silently skulking around. Another kill for Margaret. Why not? But, oh, Jit Boys.
Nongshim need the guns, essentially. I mean, they'll have a buy in the next round. They need all that they can get. So 3, the pass mark, I guess you'll say. More importantly for Nongshim, it's the round. But at that point in time, that can even just be like a respect one from Talon. We've taken 8 off you. You can have another one. It'll be fine.
Certainly feels that way right now. You got a lot of confidence, but do want to still note that single mistake, you don't want to get too complacent. Nongshim could still mount a bit of a comeback. Right now, though, that's a great recovery and certainly will do wonders for the mental side.
8-4, best half result that Nongshim can hope for, but I think hope is not what we need to rely on. They need to be individually hitting the shots, coming out with a lot of these calls. They've been holding some of these ults in their back pockets for quite a little bit now, wondering when are they going to put themselves in a situation to be able to use them, because Talon aren't giving them space. Talon aren't giving them the light of day.
And Talon are just reacting and calling so quickly off of the extremities of the map right now, back into it again.
You can't be missing those shots as Dambi.
Can't even find an escape route either. Tough luck. And off to the C side as well, Talon still...
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just reset altogether towards C, Dimensional Drift in, which is exactly what they've just pulled for all the information. You're either getting From the Shadows or Annihilation for Thai and Cruz respectively here.
Noting all the positions. Nongshim maybe setting themselves up for sort of a retake. Decent kill now from Primi. A second one going his way. You don't even have an opportunity to use the Hunter's Fury to deny Spike Plan at this point.
You have to save. You honestly have to save here as well for Nongshim. You need to make sure that your credits are deployable for the rest of the team next round. So Persia's going to be dropping something. You're again not playing with the economy of Talon whatsoever.
All Primi.
Yeah, you take him down, but it's still a 2 versus 5 now. 1 versus 4. Like, yeah, it's just not achievable for Nongshim.
I'm worried for his stats. That's why I said, oh, Primi.
Primi's stats? I mean, the way that he's going right now, whoever of our analysts and hosts predicted Primi on the Duelist, they put him in their build diff team. Nice. Now Ivy is probably going to be, you know, put 6 feet under as well.
Okay.
Maybe not.
No, kind of keeps himself afloat. A little bit further.
Where were these frags earlier, Ivy?
Well, we might see them a little bit more in the second half now that he's found this little moment. The round might have gone over onto Talon, but will keep ourselves invested for Nongshim.
Yeah. The wheels are still spinning. They're still going forwards. I mean, there's a lot of traffic lights here and there that the lights are red, but they're still going.
Warning signals here and there, but we're still chugging along with the Chober hype train right now.
One enemy remaining.
We'll see, though. Somebody check in on him. I hope he's doing okay.
I mean, knowing and looking at this, it's Haven from Talon. They've been on an upward trajectory. Pearl is in the pool. You're probably looking at an angle of ascent. That might be the thought process. But it's early. It's the first half of the first map. And now it's the last round of this half. An Operator out for Primi, an Odin for Cruz. I talked about the ultimates in the previous round for them. They're now online. So it gives them a couple more options, but it's going to be the first frag that really needs to go Nongshim's way. And it might very well, Jit Boys, quite low.
Decent shots, but also the slide already spent. Meanwhile, Talon once again back in towards C, where it's just Persia.
Yeah, there's actually a bit of difference now, isn't there? You've swapped Persia and Francis's locations around the map. You've got a little bit of this Cypher utility at the front of B, and an Operator echoes out towards the C side of things, where now Persia, yeah, the right player to get out of dodge with that Shrouded Step, but still maybe gonna be Cocoon. No, it's Margaret instead.
So no neural theft. He does get away, though. Gilua from Garage, unfortunately not able to come up with the goods. Down to the site now. There's the Hunter's Fury to buy a bit more time. Neural theft too!
Yeah, but the Neural Theft was used after the Hunter's Fury, so they're not able to combo those ultimates on the back of the information.
Yeah, not fully, but at least they're aware that there might be a player looking down the back of Garage. That said, though, Jit Boys will regroup with his team just to mark down these angles now, trying to block them off at the choke points. Or here comes Dambi with the overdrive as well. Relay both in, and they're trying to keep themselves alive, but still gunned down, placed down by Nongshim now. Just Primi left, and he's low HP. This round should be heading Oda the other way, but Primi still keeping Nongshim on their toes. 2 kills. He's still good on the 1v1s. Nongshim, though, will be able to stick the defuse all the way through.
2 kills, not scary enough at the end there for Primi. Certainly a little bit of damage. 9-3 at the half. I think you're looking back at this one, there's a lot that you can learn for Nongshim, hopefully in this little break here on what they need to deploy coming in towards the second half. But attack versus defense can be a bit of a fickle thing. I don't really think they've given themselves enough space for this second half. But if they can get out of the gates, you know, you get your pistol round, you're getting a bonus, or you're dropping the pistol round, you get your second one back like your Talon have just done to you. Maybe they can start to have a little bit of a comeback at the moment, but I'm seeing a couple of worries. All right, what have you got for us, Jem? What have you got here? Every match has gone to map 3 so far. What about today?
She's thinking. She
shouldn't be thinking. It should be definitely going to map 3 here, Jen.
Just based on trends, right? Come on! She's still deciding, okay, there we go. She's picking into a 2-0.
Yeah, but that's a 2-0, and the players
Nongshim.
in the picture are Nongshim there. So
That's-
she's saying 2-0 Nongshim, which means there's going to be a full reverse sweep on Haven, and then Pearl goes their way.
Jen is the prophet. Things have happened before. We might see the comeback. There is still a chance.
See, that's the right prediction. Map 3.
The more logical prediction, especially with the win-loss record of Talon so far.
I'm looking at this, the logical prediction is probably 2-0 towards Talon. Let's be real.
Just based
knows?
off of
We'll
what
see.
we've seen so far, but sometimes you gotta believe.
Needs to be the wake-up call, though, for Nongshim at the moment, right? A half is done. They can stew in this little break at the moment. They need to shake off any worries, shake off any nerves.
Majority of the audience just went for the three-mapper.
Audience knows.
They know what's up.
Yeah, I'm Talon, though. Primi, first half, 19 kills. That is absolutely ridiculous. You got
Jitboy's as well.
up there as well. Cruz is just laying back. He's doing his calls. The team's shooting. And Primi is... Well, I thought he got darted himself, but he didn't. You're scared, though. You see Primi down sewers. That's going to scare Nongshim a little bit.
Well, scared, or you'll take more members into this one fight, and they do just that.
Yeah, but he still takes one down with him, and it's Darby first.
4v4, you still have your initiator. You can kind of cook things up somewhere.
This is
Talon.
interesting for Talon. Running the double senti, choosing to go for some little bits of information in the mid rounds here. Ivy, I don't know how he's gotten away with that one. That was risky business. But
Close.
now you've got a 4 versus 3. And again, Talon want to still go in mid, and it's gorgeous for them. They might get a double here.
They have the numbers, they have the confidence from the previous duels being won, so why not go for it? Cruz now finding the headshot. Got Killua spotting them out towards the back as well, the double kill. One that Nongshim did not expect.
Yeah, just absolutely catching them on the timing there through the sewers and wrapping around. They would have had to contend with the barrier mesh as well that was at the top entry choke of A, so it would have been quite difficult for them to even get on in. Just a lot of duels being traded here and there, some a little bit interesting on how it actually goes the way of Ivy, but traded out in the end. You know, a different round if he's able to dispatch of Cruz.
It's, you know, pushes that Nongshim didn't quite expect.
Oh, for sure.
Speaking of things that you don't expect, though, yeah, I just caught a glimpse of the judge, the outlaw being pulled out. Stinger as well for Nongshim.
Yeah, I mean, Talon were able to get the Stinger round successful. So going against
Oh!
the outlaw, 140 each shot, Primi. He's essentially just won the round with those 2 kills and even the tag onto Danby. You can't slide in with 10 HP on a Stinger, you would assume.
Absolutely not. Clapped through. Your entire force buy hinged upon this, but it just got broken apart. Decent kill from Ivy, though, but you still have Primi around the site.
Yeah, Primi's still here, calling for the cavalry as well.
Thigh nearby for flashes if needed. You got this little edge around the smoke. Margaret, though, will be able to play close range.
Smoke's gonna fade.
Primi out through the other side, and Danby looks to equalize. Cruz up from the top. And, well, Jitboy's with the judge. It's a little bit tough in terms of range, but down the drops. It's going to be Margaret trying to trace through. It doesn't quite go all the way that he wants. Margaret now with an outlaw. One shot is all it took, but still the low HP. Tough again, but decent economical damage.
Yeah, it's a nice try in for Nongshim there, but unfortunately, as I mentioned, right, 10 HP for Danby. They're trying to duck, they're trying to weave out the dark cover through the cyber cages as well, and it's just not able to get the job done, unfortunately, for Nongshim. Look at the replays, it's a cheeky one out from Margaret, but just not able to get it done at the end, you know. There's 2 duels that they're trying to fight almost individually as Margaret at the end, and just not able to find any. That might be the nail in the coffin with a bit of a force up for Nongshim there. They have to dig deep in towards the pockets yet again here.
11-3. You really need to make a deep run with every single buy from here on out.
Yeah.
The outlaw can just certainly delete a couple players as well. 2 of them on light shields for Nongshim.
Well, at least they do diff Primi this time. I say diff, not really a massive diff. It's just removing the head of the duelist of Talon, and that's from, unfortunately, highlighting the least fragging member in Francis at the moment. Has to adjust between the Teo back towards the breach, where I was expecting a lot more setups from him for Danby, for example.
Thing is, do you expect there to be a judge inside of Garage, or for Talon to continue pushing out of B as well? Cruz.
This is a risky one, but I don't mind it.
Oh, he sidesteps in with the second kill. The Stinger doing wonders. But he walls himself up just to keep himself somewhat alive. Nongshim then to play with caution. Shrouded steps over. Margaret to receive. And Ivy to find the final kill. Nongshim will keep themselves afloat for one more round.
Yeah, for one more round at least here. A bit of cushioning. But all it's going to take is one little faltering and Talon would find map point here. Is this the time for Nongshim to start to make an attack and train happen, though? Hey, look, maybe, right? They're starting to have a couple of opening frags. That is the first round that they get here on what generally would have been the bonus round for Talon anyway, but with the way that those first two rounds went, it means that they're going to be down on the pistols come this next round. And I'm already seeing a lot more changes of position, of utility from Talon on this defensive side as well. They're not scared to waltz together through mid.
There you go. Changes in the players' demeanor as well. Certainly giving them a lot more confidence, especially for the later maps right now. Talon trying to keep themselves alive.
And Ivy's using the drone right now out through mid, so you're not going to be able to use that towards the alpha side of the map, which if he did, you know, and was able to spot out 2-3 members, you just call an audible there and absolutely leave the site. This time, though, Nongshim just going quite slow together, waiting to see any over-aggressions from Talon.
And could reckon kind of fair enough. You've seen Talon push out B a couple times now.
Yeah, but Nongshim, if this is the call to go to A, you're going to be going into a potential killer Armageddon if you're spotted. If that goes from the top of A lobby toward long, well, you're Shrek'd.
You just removed Killa, so no need to worry about that for now. Great place shot from Danby, who has been the star duelist of the team, needing to put up huge numbers for this map as well. Hot flash from Primi, stays alive, still skulking around the site. Francis, though, coming back in with the entire team, just decimates Talon. But you have sussed out some positions now.
It's good to see that the layers there didn't wreck them in the end. So Nongshim, again holding on. But remember, that was just the pistols to come through for Talon.
Now you've got the full buy.
Now you've got the full buy and the backup of the ults as well. And I say backup because we know that Talon might not necessarily need to even deploy them. Team that has a lot of great decisions on the early stages. You know, if they're able to get Primi on the right spot with this operator as well, for example. See where that one's going to be poised over towards the C site where you've got your Sentinels set up. I say Sentinel set up, it's your Cypher set up rather, because the Deadlock traps are going to be towards the A side of the map from long, which means if Darby decides to overdrive through there, well, he's getting stunned up twice.
That would just be great anticipation from Cruz. We'll see how it all works out, though, Drone.
Yeah, it's the timing right now as well, right? It's what can you hear on the utility mark. Killua with the stealth drone. Smoke's really quickly deployable by Thai. Do you get the sensation as Nongshim that there might be a little bit more of a stacking towards this A site? Seen one sensor removed by a shock dart. Still one at the front of the site, however.
Those are a couple of tells. Nongshim trailing off of Alpha now.
Yeah, and remember this operator too. Primi, head on a swivel to go between Garage and Long. Trapwire not broken by the Owl drone. And I don't even know if it was actually spotted out with the positioning that Ivy has just shot. So that Trapwire can still be played with a little bit later, and that's timing to be bought with the Armageddon and the barrier mesh deployed as well. So Nongshim, 30 seconds to go. They can't end here.
They're feeling the heat, though, and the Annihilation called out as well.
Now you got to contend with Primi, who has Dimensional Drift, but the Operator and Flashes to dance with.
We'll see. If you're able to throw Primi off, that could work wonders for your team. Primi, though, just steps into the right line at the right time.
Wait,
Dimensional Drift as well.
Dami actually got picked up by the Annihilation.
Uh-oh, that just does not bode too well for Nongshim Persia, though, trying to keep themselves alive, trying to stick the spike down as well, but Primi out for the clone, in with the angle being held as well. Cruz then, with the grab net coming back up, that could work out huge, but 2v3, the kill's not going their way. Primi and Kill have fallen, just Cruz left.
They might have just done it here. Nongshim surviving through a pretty hefty ultimate round. Cruz now looking for some potential exits.
And that's just an incredible save coming out from players like Persia, Francis, Ivy a little bit as well.
Absolutely. Talk about getting some confidence. Oh, okay, hang on, maybe, no, never mind.
Cruz still got some kick in him.
10 bullets and ammunition. But
he's gonna
might be able to just escape on this one.
Spike will just blow off.
more importantly, it's another round for Nongshim, and I'm looking at it, right? Primi ult, Cruz ult, Killer ult. I gotta say, Cruz popped the Annihilation on the A side itself really early. He's just ricocheted that one to mid-window and picked up Darby.
Just in case.
When, by the way, Nongshim are in the C site, Darby the Duelist is lurking mid-window.
How big brain is that?
No, how unexpected is that?
I mean, he knew Darby was somewhere around the A side, just based on like timing and rotation of things. I think that's such a smart call, and he's kept himself up to 9-9 right now.
That was a little bit of luck.
Sure enough, there is an element of that in there.
Rifles though for Nongshim.
That's right.
To the A side of things, forcing a gate crash away, starting to slowly gather some space. It's another eco scenario for Talon. Holding on to a bit of this Sentinel utility, by the way, as well. 2 trap wires, 2 sonic sensors.
Meanwhile, for Nongshim, if you are able to cycle through with your ultimates, you can definitely string a couple of rounds together, especially the ones where Talon will be able to come back in with the full buys.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Nongshim, you want to try and be kind of 100% in these sort of rounds, right? If you have to use an ultimate to be able to pick it up, I mean, it's not the worst thing. Reminds me of, Americas at the moment, where the likes of a Vice, right? Steel Gardens are used on these anti-eco rounds more often than actual rifle rounds. No Vice here, but ultimates, as I'm trying to say, use an ultimate if you've got it, and you might need to with 4 players at this A site for Talon, 30 seconds to go. If you're not rolling Thundering as Francis, this is rough.
Yeah, no info yet either. Hopefully the recon
you're gonna get
gives a bit of a
done.
tell, but yeah, the grab net right on through. TP's away, 20 seconds then for the hit. The barrier mesh coming up at the right time. You got the right clicks through as well, but not too bad. Nongshim able to just absolutely overwhelm the entirety of Talon all throughout this part of the map.
Neural Theft used at the end there. You throw your hat in the ring, so to speak, as Margaret, but the bell had already rung, so nicely done. 11-7, 4 in a row for Nongshim. A better identity on this attacking side at the moment, where we were highlighting earlier. They have had majority of their success over on that defensive side. Flawless variety though, against the little half buy, half investment, sort of investment. Call it what you will. It's a round for Nongshim. Now they have to try and do it again against the proper weaponry of Talon.
Talon is also kind of cooled off for the past several rounds now, no longer peeking out aggressively. This time though, C.
Oh, you say that, yeah. A little bit of a creep up together, holding each other's hands. It's something that Margaret maybe should have done on the defensive side. Have a buddy with you.
Key info.
Tradeability.
Nongshim still just hovering around.
It's risky though, because Primi wants to do it off the back of the camera. That is gorgeous, and they can get out of this one as well.
Oh,
job's done. You've taken out 2 members.
Just around Garage, and then the drone out. 3v5 just as the round started. And Nongshim are just left wondering what happened.
And this is the scenario now where that halftime result of 9-3 really becomes a problem, right? Because you got 1 round that you sacrifice over towards Talon in this spot, and then you have to push us into overtime. You have to get 5 in a row, unless you get a 3 versus 5 conversion as Nongshim here.
That's why this is just such an incredible call, incredible teamwork coming out from Talon once again. What a way to splash cold water onto Nongshim's 4-round win streak. Still though, the 3 members trying to scrounge something up together towards this Charlie site.
If they can get the plant free of charge, they'll have a recon for Ivy. There's 1 Shock Dart and a Hunter's Fury. But you have to see Danby, you have to see Persia doing a lot here.
Well, in position so far. Side steps, got the flash as well. Primi coming back in, and Danby, he's equalized the numbers.
Okay.
Ivy down towards the back as well.
And now you switch to post plant. You still got that ult. As I said, you got it from the shadows for Persia. You can one-way the site.
Really good chance. Just got to spam right through. Hunter's ripping out. Oh, and it's just Thigh left. And he's just trying to keep himself alive.
He got tagged.
70 HP. Danby slips through the net, and he sees that no one is on the spike. That's key information. The round is done.
And they've really dug deep there. Oh my. Danby, Ivy, Persia, a 3 versus 5 conversion. It doesn't matter that Thai has survived there with the operator. That's just a bit of a saving grace for Talon. That is a huge round for Nongshim that may very well save them in this map, depending on the next gun round that we see. If this operator saved doesn't deploy anything substantial in this next round, it could actually be the round that has just saved Nongshim.
A clattering round of applause from our Korean home crowd right here in S-Plex as well, just giving so much acknowledgement to the efforts of Nongshim in that very round. Meanwhile, for Talon, still looking for that map point.
I'll be honest with you, Quack, they're looking for one round at the moment. It's attacking side deja vu for this map.
At least they've got those 2 timeouts. We'll see if Jovi and Frost can cook something up.
Have they swapped spots? I actually don't know.
Not entirely sure. They've kind of, you know, actually, it kind of looks familiar.
Well, at least the hat's on Frost's head.
Yes.
That was...
that one time.
It was yeah, all it took was one time to recognize immediately, oh my god, he's not wearing a hat.
You see him not wearing a hat in the Homegrown documentary as well, so that, you know, it's Frost. Hector Rosario. But that said, yes.
Hat on means business.
It is.
Right now, we've got a very
mode.
loose handshake at the moment from what we're seeing for Talon. 11-8. Shambles in their camp. So they call the timeout to have a bit of a discussion.
That's where you got to take a look at how Nongshim's able to play around this as well.
Something I want to say as well, 19 kills for Primi on the first half. He's had 5 in 7 rounds now.
Right? Some of them holding on to his off. Getting clapped by Nongshim, finding first contact with numbers.
Yeah. Do you still want to try and regain something towards this A site though with the operator?
Oh, yeah, repositioned.
Cheeky from Killua too. Has the stealth drone if he wants to plot it down sewers or down long. I mean, it might have been a bit of a bad scenario because all of Nongshim are pretty much here now.
Okay, gate crashes away. A little bit of information for Nongshim to then really collapse into the site. Great timing on the barrier mash, but Percha just slips through. The rest of the team as well, but Killua finds the first kill. Off to the next as well, though, as Dambi now slides back in.
Remember, an operator for Premi, you'd need to be given a duel almost, you would think, and then with the 2 rifles of Thai and Jip Boys, I mean, 3 versus 4, you kind of consider going for it, but remember, Francis rolling Thunder too.
Yeah, I might even think to a save unless you can find an opening kill. Watching for at least while Thai as well as Chip Boys methodically clear every single angle. Dambi first done, Rolling Thunder baited out, and unfortunate for Chip Boys, he doesn't get away alive.
That's going to be the call now. You want to take this operator into the next round. You cannot reinvest in towards that one. Jip Boys, unfortunate that you lose your life at the end, but you will take a rifle and that sniper into the next round. It's another successful one for Nongshim.
6 in the books.
As I said though, right, using the ultimate on these rounds where you feel like you just have to try and win it, because that's the important factor at the moment for Nongshim. It's winning. It's not giving Talon the space, the opportunities. If you're off-putting this operator time and time again, you're giving yourselves enough rope to be able to hang on.
A lot of rope, in fact. I mean, 6 rounds in a row, and you just hear the crowd continuing to cheer and applause. It's getting louder and louder, Komodo, with every single round going towards Nongshim.
But again, all it's going to take is one. It's not too excitable at the moment for Nongshim. They know that they have to just keep their head on straight and into the C site, potentially. It would be where Premi is. You would think, generally, you should be good for one in this here.
At least one. You got the gate crash to...
Well, I like that
out as well.
Progressive smoke at the moment for Nongshim to just make sure the sniper line isn't available for him. A bit of a difference as well, right? Playing on a Yoru, you're generally not going to see it elevated on the top of the C site. You'd have to see Thai pick up the operator, and are we seeing Thai pick up an operator?
No, not so far.
Not really.
Great recognition coming through from Nongshim, and right now just to lurk into several positions just in case as well. Cruz. Deals with the camera for now.
You see a lot of the center U tilt towards the A side as well for Nongshim. It's where they've been kind of leaning towards a little bit. And a bit of a different look as well. Forward trap wire, kill trap in the site, sensor as well.
Over there.
With more time bleeding off this clock, you start to consider that if you're going into an angle and the judge is there, well, it could be a little bit problematic for Nongshim.
Especially if you've just seen Cruz in such a forward position.
Yeah. Oh, they do want to contend with going to this A side though, so it's going to be Jip Boys. It's going to be Thai.
Yeah, it comes down to the utility as well as the smokes. Possibly close range kills as well, but you're working against Dambi.
Salvos, though, sub 30 seconds to go to try and get this plant down in towards the trapwire as well.
Oh,
the
the
judge
judge!
is just going to echo on out. This might be hard for Nongshim.
The TP cancelled as well. Unfortunate for Persia. Now Nongshim just trying to trudge their way forward, but the judge brings justice. Francis and Ivy, though, not backing down. Smooth criminals in their own way, but Primy to fire back. They're all blocked off at this little toe point, but Ivy still bringing things right back to the 1v1. Jit Boys getting the spam forward, and he brings Talon up to that crucial, much coveted map point.
Yeah, you unfortunately had to go for the stick there as Ivy to extend your chances of winning the round, and when the neural theft comes on out, you don't know where Jit Boys has slipped in towards as well. It becomes a little bit difficult. As I said, sub 30 seconds for them to get in towards the site. The fact that the From the Shadows is invested from Persia and just absolutely read and heard as well makes things a little bit more difficult. 5, 4, 3, not even to the 3 seconds on the clock. It would have been really difficult for Ivy to have won that one, but as you said now, 12 on map point for Talon. Already locking Nongshim out of A lobby.
And you also got Primy pushing up as well. Further information gained. Nongshim, though, just throwing caution to the wind, straight into B site for the quick TP spike plant play.
Oh,
but Thai has spotted ahead of it.
No one's protecting him. He's gone for the plant and then to try and get on out there. And now how do you get the spike back? It's Persia.
No chance.
This is probably done. This is absolutely an unheard of situation for Nongshim to get back in.
Oh, and they're just continuing to spray a hail of bullets going all the way through at this one little gate. Nongshim unable to scratch their way back in, still close off onto the other side, GravNet, and that just confirms positioning.
I mean, they've got 2 kills so far, but can you get more? I mean, Spike in the site, disrespectful play from Thai to deny the plant from going down. Faultline and Recon to at least clear the front of sight, but Talon, they recognize with 30 seconds to go, all right, let's just disconnect from it, have a bit of a flank potential to come on out.
Right, play with numbers. You got the flash, possibly GravNet coming back as well.
And if you keep pushing as Ivy, you would probably assume that Primy would have been good for 1, but now you've not expected a reflank to come out from Cruz, and it's a 1 versus 3 for Francis.
Uh-oh. How could you possibly know? Francis still trying desperately to keep himself in the game. A 1v3 would be monumental, but it's so tough. He hears the footsteps. Cruz just crouch at the very last second, and we end the first map 13-9 in favor of Talon.
Yeah, they came out of the gates with a great idea after that first pistol round that goes the way of Nongshim. Just 9 or 8 rounds in a row, rather, to make it 8-1. Finally won back, but I mean, it was really the heavy lifting that they did on their own attacking side. Gets a little bit of hold under the collar on the switch up. Pistol round, second round going Talon's way. You think, yeah, maybe this map's done. A wake-up call on the side of Nongshim. They start to collect together. They start to have some good timing and spacing. But really, when you're looking at that 9-3 turned into an 11-3, there is just no space that they had to work with.
That's where you really got to wonder, right? There's still a decent chance. I mean, this little comeback, that was, what, 6 rounds straight in a row picked up by Nongshim. It certainly could do wonders for them in the upcoming maps. Talon, meanwhile, you take a look at the recent matches, the recent games that they've been playing, it's gone 3 maps every single time, and that's sometimes where they falter as well. Do they have a problem with closing out the games?
Well, I mean, they broke the curse the other day on their first map of the series of a best of 3 as well, right? Now they've echoed that yet again, but whether or not Pearl is going to go their way for a 2-0, or with Nongshim going into that and that being a very confident map for them, maybe they can tie it up and push it to a center.
That's where things get a little bit surprising for sure, Komodo. I mean, just thinking about Nongshim, this is the first time they've picked Pearl against Talon. We'll see how it shakes up, because for now, we're going to have to toss it back over onto our desk to break things down.
Haven is a place on Earth. It certainly is for Talon Esports that take the first map of the day. They're all cringing at me.
How long have you been
They're
saying
all
on that
cringing.
one? No, I think you need to understand what I just went through watching this on my coaster, and the first thing I hear is Haven is a place on Earth. Like, what am I doing here?
Well, welcome back. Chobra here on the desk as our special guest. I do have to... How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm upset. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at... Well,
You're mad at yourself.
I'm kind of mad at the boys. I'm mad at Frost. I'm mad at everybody. I'm mad at EDG for losing.
Yeah. You're mad at me now for saying that line as well. But and I and I quote from a while ago, I think somewhere around round 18 or 19, Chobra did say, Princess...
Persia is back. He's not back. He's been gone for a while.
We did hear that though from him from across this area.
This is the bar is like someone gets a 2K and they're back. Like that's where we're at now.
Will is regretting coming on the desk now.
I thought this was a safe space.
No. He came here for therapy, but he just gets bullied.
I mean, with a match like this, come on, how can you not, right? It's Nongshim. They had us believing a little bit, especially towards the end over there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you had your hands up in the air so many times, so
But
yeah.
were you believing in the comeback by the end there?
Yes, but I'm gonna be brutally honest, all right? And I don't care if Nongshim sees this. I was 40% believing in Nongshim bringing it back, and I was 60% believing in Talon throwing it.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah,
So,
no,
like,
that's a
listen,
good point.
That's
Yeah.
where it was. That's where that map was.
They were doing a pretty good job of that, to be fair. There was so many like 3v5s and things like that. I mean, yeah, we'll go into a little bit more detail about it later, but I think at the end of the day, it was interesting again to see Haven come back into the veto after the last time the comp changed. It's now 3 in a row that Talon has won with this comp, and they're beating Korean teams every time.
I mean, when you have Primi with a performance like that, how can you not, right? We're seeing
Electric.
absolutely electric versus down beyond the neon, right?
I mean, especially this first half. I think he ended this first half on 19 kills.
Yeah.
He absolutely took over. Multi-kill after multi-kill. This guy, he could do no wrong. And I mean, as a Nongshim fan, it's got to be frustrating watching this guy be on the other side.
Well, yeah, because there were so many other things that I was like, oh, like Nongshim, you know, some of the players haven't warmed up, etc. And then I'm looking at what Primi's doing, and I'm like, maybe it doesn't even matter, because he's just going around fragging anybody anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he just couldn't die. It's, you know, in this, he's constantly getting kills he shouldn't get. He's constantly getting away with his life, just making an absolute nightmare of a time for Nongshim.
Yeah, you got a lot of really good opening kills. I think on the attacking side as well, fragging out that hard on the Yo when you're the solo duelist is really commendable, because a lot of the time you have to be that space creator that isn't actually always set up to frag. A lot of the time you're trying to make space for the middle of the pack to actually get into a post plan or get involved in the action, but just Primi things. He just goes and takes aim duels and wins them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, 7 first kills. That just shows just how much of a beast Primi is.
Who's saying he's baiting?
We're
7
quite-
first kills.
We're quite happy. We're quite happy. I also had Primi on
Yeah.
my team, by the way. So I think we're doing okay. And I think, you know, props to Talon for pulling out some really scrappy rounds as well, especially at the beginning of that map too.
If you compare to kickoff, I mean, Primi's taken more than double the amount of opening duels that he was in kickoff. I mean, part of that is switching back over to the duelist, but what I was kind of alluding to before, if we get into the next set of replays, is the amount of 3v5s that were converted to Nongshim, and part of that's down to Talon. I feel like there's just not good enough freeze protocols. You get an Annihilation pick and an op pick from Primi, and then you're in a 5-on-3, and you just give Persia way too many opportunities here.
Yeah, I mean, this round was a little bit crazy. We saw Talon invest 4 ults into this and managed to lose it. You must have been feeling hyped on this one.
That was the round when he was back for that round.
He was back in that round.
That was it.
He showed up for
I
one
know
round.
that moment.
And then it happened again here. Like, that was another 3-on-5 that Nongshim was able to win. And Talon, they've got to be kicking themselves because they were dominating. They were front-running this game on the attacking side. And it's worth mentioning that Nongshim opted to start out attack last time, and they had a pretty good time of it. But this time, they chose to start defense after Talon picks Haven again. And then you did see a little bit more of a comeback on that attacking side. Partially, I feel like that was down to Nongshim's game plan. They did a really good job playing slower and conditioning like the rotations initially, and then got him with some really nice sight hits. But part of that is down to Primi, who's got the MVP here, gets an opening pick or gets an opening kill. You're in a 5-on-3, and then you're just not able to actually convert that despite a lot of ults invested, or maybe not having good enough freeze protocols and allowing these really solid mid-rounders who, you know, maybe haven't been in good form lately, like Persia, to actually pop off.
Yeah, once he gets that opening duel, right? Your game plan kind of falls by the wayside, and suddenly you're stressing, and you have to adapt and everything. And Nongshim, they're still trying to find their ground into doing this, right? I can actually see Will is actually stressed. He's like, there's like a twitching vein on the side.
I've never been this stressed in my life. This is like just beating out my own wedding and how stressed I am. All right?
Oh my god!
Like, this is insane. Like, I don't know what I signed up for, but this wasn't it. This wasn't it.
I do think there is hope for Nongshim still. We're going into Pearl.
You didn't even prep Nongshim.
I
What are you doing, you traitor?
I'm not a believer. I'm trying to give you some copium. I'm trying to help you here.
We are here as friends. We are here as friends. We are going into Pearl. And no, I do have to side with Morgan here because this is the map that kind of makes me a little nervous as somebody who did predict Talon.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I was to summarize it for all the viewers, Nongshim good on Pearl, Talon bad on Pearl.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I mean, it's kind of a weird dynamic here that I have to kind of be the devil's advocate. But honestly, what I am a little bit concerned is that I still see the same bad habits from Nongshim. Like every team has their own bad habits, right?
Yeah.
Like Talon has their we're gonna give 1v1. So Nongshim, the same bad habits showed up on Haven. And while I trust that they have reinforced their Pearl, if they sat there and thought, well, our Pearl is good, let's work on the other maps, then I think Talon could come in prepared. So in all honesty, like, I don't mind losing that first map. Yeah, you're expecting you win Pearl, maybe it's a 1-1. But the way they lost that first half, I mean, a little bit concerned.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I still believe, just so we're very clear.
Look, I think Talon, they haven't had a good run on this map, especially the game against Gen.G doesn't fill you with a lot of confidence, and it took a pretty inspired Zeta, despite the fact there was some like degree of misplaying in that game for Nongshim. They still barely lost that game, which shows you the quality that they have on this map, right? Like even a Zeta that is kind of peak performance plus some good preparation to beat Nongshim on this map, I think you're feeling pretty safe to go through to a third map.
Yeah, you gotta remember that 13-3 against Gen.G, right? Which Gen.G were able to take on Pearl.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And Pearl has always been very, very strong on the side of Nongshim. You mentioned that they're not really changing anything, but for this map, is it one of those maps that they probably don't need to?
I mean, listen, if you get the pistol, maybe you don't need to, right? You get the snowball, you get the tempo rolling, and they're very good at that. Like, Nongshim's a very streaky team, both winning and losing. So I think let's get a pistol, start off, not let's
not get stinged.
Yeah, let's not get stingered because we know Talon does it every single map anyway. I was losing my mind. Okay, I gotta chill.
That one
Yeah.
definitely stung.
The ramen is heating up over here. The ramen is cooking, and we gotta let it simmer just a bit as we're about to step into Pearl. What are we expecting here? I am expecting though that Talon doesn't make that same mistake that happened against Gen.G last time, and they're coming in a lot stronger here on Pearl, especially since they left it open.
Yeah, as you said, Chobra, I mean, I do feel like this is a map that by leaving it in the pool, you sort of know Nongshim are going to pick it, right?
Of course,
so
yeah.
that very much means we know what Talon are like in terms of how they like to prep. So Talon will have an idea here. They've not let this through entirely on a whim. It's not a mistake for this, you know?
Absolutely. And I think we could let Chobra get back to his watch party as well, because I do think that we are stepping into Pearl right now, and we have some very interesting updates.
Nongshim not changing up too much, but similar to actually what we saw on that previous map, we're getting rid of the Teo and bringing the Sova back in. So minor changes there for Nongshim to start out here on the attacking side of Pearl, which means that Talon has chosen to start defense.
Yeah, but we are seeing Talon play this kind of double sentinel that, we just saw it on Haven with the Deadlock. Now we have Vice and Cypher with that solo initiator Teo instead of the Fade that they previously liked to use. So this is definitely a slightly different look. This seems very well prepared and a much more holistic style that we're seeing from Talon.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out for them. I mean, I think I did like the Fade being the solo init, especially on the attacking side, but Teo will be a slight change up, so both teams only opting to really change their init.
Hey, does the series belong to Talon already, or are Nongshim ready to make a comeback here on Pearl? One of their best maps. We're gonna find out as we toss it on over to our casters, Quack and Komodo.
Thank you very much, Mika and Big Time and Pilsky. Yes, this all comes down to it once again. You have some slight change-ups in terms of the initiators, but I just got to remind everyone, right? We kind of have to do it. Again, the Ascension team needs to find these wins. They need the championship points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, what's the word here? Did Pilsky watch how they piloted the Fade last time? There wasn't that much against Gen.G, let's be real. So
They got shut down every step of the way.
Yeah, they did. They couldn't get anything happening as Talon in that game, nor really against Team Secret as well, if you cast your minds back towards that one. But hey, different scenario, different standings right now. We're in towards the pistol round of map number 2. And Nongshim, they need to win this one to try and send us into the third to be in with a chance to win this series. They have already gathered B-Long control at the moment. They would have to contend against Jit Boys, who was pretty sensational on the Cypher over on Haven.
Starting to have to see if he's able to keep that up so far onto this map. It's a lot wider this time. You do have the trip as well as a star for some added support. Nongshim just kind of drawing out the utility early on.
Yeah, Jitboy's taking a little bit of that damage early on with Margaret fighting an opener. You can't quite navigate a secondary one though as Nongshim, so it's a little bit evens here. Margaret down for the count, of course, had a bit of a life map last time on this one. Great shots out from Ivy. If map number 1, he was a bit silent, well, he started to wake up a bit from that second half. Who hasn't? Jitboys. That's an awkward one.
Really tough for Cruz now as well to be put in this 1v4 on the pistol. Then again, Talon were able to kind of bring things back on towards the subsequent rounds. Right now, though, just Nongshim to collect very cleanly on towards the next win.
And now this is the second round where we need to see what Talon is going to do. Are they going to present us with Stingers yet again and potentially win out the round, or are they going to play quote-unquote normal Valorant, go for an eco, and get out a proper bonus round, fire round in the third? Because they didn't really get much in this pistol round. A little licking of damage, a single frag, and apart from that, a lot of bullets going haywire.
Yeah, if you do buy up the Stingers for the next round, you're not gonna be leaving yourself with a lot for the upcoming ones. So it's going to be the full save, Komodo. Meanwhile, for Nongshim, oh, the snipers aplenty. That's going to do a lot of penetrative damage.
Yeah, you'd expect. Timing, Primi afforded something here with the pistol, potentially, but just with the classic and a gate crash to get out of dodge, you would generally hope that Nongshim would not overlook a position like this. And with the drone going through, he's going to have to skedaddle on out of there. Meanwhile, Jitboys is down for the count already. Again, just pistols here. So you were generally just looking for the pass mark for Nongshim, maybe even the flawless.
And that's what's curious about this entire veto as well, right? I mean, you left Pearl open intentionally.
Yep.
Meanwhile, for Nongshim, also just recognizing how to play around this map as well. The long-range duels right now, everything favoring them. He can close range with Marshall, though, kind of using it as musket. So far, so good. Reloads, but Cruz back in with a right click.
I just have in my head in a situation like that, if Margaret is there, he needs to be doing texture. Help, help, help. He's missing the shots of the Marshal or any gun. Needs someone to bail him out. But this time, right now, there's an unexpected location of Primi and Killua. And this, I'm talking about needing to be a flawless round, Quack. It might be a 1 versus 1, but no, Dami in for the 4K.
So clean, still good, and with those kills and ult points going his way, certainly pointing towards an upwards trajectory for Nongshim so far, but decent kills for Talon as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of highlight for me in a round such as this, right? It's the classics, it's the shots coming out. You're looking at a round such as that, carrying over these Guardians, carrying over the Outlaw to make sure that you've got a lot of these pieces for a puzzle in the next round to try and come out on this attacking side. Kind of flawless, right? We need to just see some domination from Nongshim to build some confidence on this map. Of course, a map expected to come in towards the veto with Talon not banning it. So I would be expecting a lot of counterplays, a lot of anti-strats.
Especially in terms of how Talon have been playing the mind game so far. It's a lot of early pressure around mid. If you're Nongshim right now, you're a little bit paranoid, and that's why you have a couple of players just to investigate around Art this time.
Oh, waiting for flash.
So close. You got the kills going through towards Talon, though. Numbers and spades, and it's just, who is that? Francis to trail off with a spike in hand.
3 versus 4. Maybe a 3 versus 3 if Cruz had overstayed a little bit, but now you've got a slight gap around the map. Killua dead, so the shear is down, meaning you can funnel some information up through mid for Nongshim. But
trips though.
What can you do? You need to see something come out from Ivy, from Margaret, and the spike gonna make its way out of the A site.
At least for now, they're trying to keep Talon invested towards this alpha site, breaking the trips. Players rotated over.
I was looking at mid as well, and I was seeing that Margaret's turret was still there. He's just retracted it, so I don't know if Primi would have heard that go down and confirmed anything. They are still putting a lot of their eggs in this A side of the map. Talon.
You got numbers, you got guns.
Exactly, they're okay to do so. They've got the drone on Cruz to still spot info. They've got the clone on Primi to throw a spanner in the works, and they've got salvos as well. So.
Here's the thing, though. They gotta do it together as a full team.
And I'm looking at Francis, actually. Recon has just come online. You've got 2 Shock Darts and a Hunter's Fury. I mean, how nerdy is he going to be with lineups?
Precisely that, Komodo. There's still a good chance that Nongshim could come away with a bonus win this time.
Nanos too.
Okay, at least Talon now swarming in together, but the first shot goes great for Ivy. Primi then to trade right back. Now Francis and Margaret to hold up. Trying to play for time. Recon in, Hunter's Fury out.
Half defused.
And that's Thigh down to half HP as well. He's trying to jiggle back and forth onto it, but the kill comes in. Just Primi left. On towards Francis. He's trying to stick it all the way through. The Shock Dart comes in, but it's not enough damage. And the Red Bull clutch picked up by Talon.
That just looked like Francis didn't really have a full idea on where the spike was planted. I mean, in a map such as this one, if you're going through a bit of an open plant, you need to make sure that you're, having the timing down right, making sure that if there is a smoke, you're kind of having the numbers to go for the sprays. When the nanos expire, when the Hunter's Fury goes in, but a little bit too late, it's also looking like, a half defuse. You can just get on that while the Nebula's still up and go for it.
Yeah. So it came close. There was a slight chance, but, recognition, especially in the heat of things. But that said, though, catching a glimpse from it from before, the economy on Talon's side completely down in the dumps.
The Shock Dart, by the way, wouldn't have even finished off Primi, so it would have had to have a spray.
But playing the long game, Nongshim with the full buys, Outlaws as well.
Yeah. I mean, those sort of scenarios, you see a couple of, post-plant teams, for example. They are throwing these double shock darts first and Hunter's Furying and waiting with the bolts in between and doing all this nerd stuff, which I like, personally. I like post-plants, but...
It just kind of really shows you why they went back to the Sova right now.
Yeah.
Also recognizing for Talon to possibly push out mid again. I mean, look at how both Margaret as well as Ivy are watching for this middle area of the map.
I mean, a little bit of paranoia as well around this B site, right? Yeah. Needing to clear all of the angles, seeing no Cypher util, seeing no Vice util, now getting info from Ivy.
And that's where Ivy kind of plays around with it as well, just to keep Talon on their toes. They have to spend some time now just to check him out. Talon, of course, it's a round where they're kind of throwing things away. If you can find a kill, if you can pick up a rifle, that could mean quite a bit as well. So all of them trying to swarm down this one player right now. They take Ivy down. Margaret, though, not too bad, standing tall. And you have more shots coming in with the Outlaw as well. Talon have to run away.
I mean, they're going to have to go up with the spike, essentially, or die to the rifles. So they do have to just charge on in. And if you're Nongshim, I wouldn't even mind them just disconnecting from this one.
My soldiers rage!
2 from the ult.
Suzume! Just run in! Throw your bodies against Nongshim and find as much as you possibly can. That's it, though. Yes, Nongshim, the Titans in this round, will be able to crush Talon outright. Jitboys with the Soul Rifle being picked up, keeps it in his hands.
That's some good damage at the end of that one, and actually kind of keeps the credit to Nongshim a little bit honest going in towards these next few rounds, but if they're able to still bring a lot of stability, it shouldn't be too harmful to them. Again, these sort of rounds are just the pistols to come through from Talon, so an idea of some mid-control, and I'm looking at Nongshim on how you're adjusting in a anti-eco environment as well, right? Still having Margaret play solo there, Ivy play solo there. These are the things that, if Talon are able to best those bodies a little bit earlier on, what could that look like?
Now you've got Dambu with an op as well. Talon, though, all of a sudden, okay, this time it's going to be the A main push out.
Yeah, you got the deep shear wall towards A. You would expect that one to be popped a little bit early in, but now you got all the information as Talon that things are heating up around this B long side of Nongshim, and there's a trade in the kill feed. You've still got advantages, Nongshim, but look at the little lurk that's coming through from Margaret. They don't need to stick around.
Somewhat unexpected. You do have some utility just in case, though. Killua, especially with that shear wall up. The rotations, though, of course, it's going to be tough for Thigh to be able to hold all this down by himself.
Well, the thing is, he's still got that shear for information that Margaret will have to pop, and then the Thorns, where he can't see them just yet, peeking where he is. They've actually just been popped too.
Big responsibility on his shoulders.
No stars yet.
Just popped. Talon then trying to reconvene towards Art. Stairs as well. Thigh trying to spam desperately forward. Decent kill from Jitboys. But then the Steel Garden coming in. Talon then having to back off because of this. Buys so much time. Nongshim still just keeping Talon away. Jitboys trying to fight back in, buying time, attention for Thigh to swing on up, but then another kill. Jitboys turns it back into 1v1, but he's low HP. Does he have the headshot? Persia off to the classic right clicks, and that's just the perfect way to deal with this fight. Time as well, working against Jitboys. He tries to go for the tap. Persia in for the right click shots. The scatter round right in. And Nongshim upwards, forwards, the 4v1.
Yeah, they hold nicely from the beginning with the operator shot to get rid of Primi on the little jump spot. That's a nice one from Darby. And the reason I'm highlighting, you know, there's a lot of things building up around B Long is because I'm waiting to see what Margaret's lurk is going to be able to achieve. If he can call for the team to come back over towards the A site, they can set themselves up with that 4 versus 3 advantage. And at the end there as well, I was looking at Old Mate in the clutch, you know, waiting for when the Gravwell's going to come back online. Use the Gravwell, but Jitboy's just not sticking that one on the low HP. A little bit rough. Talon not able to start off on this map like they did on map number 1. But Nongshim, they are out of the gates nice and early here.
Very swift.
Yep.
Talon, meanwhile, it is pistol, so I can see why, but again, you're pushing out.
On a map like Pearl, I mean, you're generally using your salvos and stuff to gain some of this A main control, right? So it's not the worst idea for them to change it up a little bit and go together as a team on this eco round. A deeper shear wall as well, where you're either putting all the bodies together through it, or you're just baiting it out. Yeah, verticality, you're still not getting over that one, unfortunately. So now it's a lot for Ivy to just kind of hold.
Oh, not expecting that many players.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I highlighted a little bit earlier, right? Ivy and Margaret have been playing a little bit more solo on this map in these sort of scenarios. So if you are able to find one of them and get a trade, you pilfer a rifle, you give yourselves an option to be able to clutch around such as this one and steal it.
Yeah, again,
I mean, a risk with a Steel Guard and a Cosmic Divide, imagine.
I don't know about that.
Use one.
Yeah, you gotta get close enough, and yeah, Margaret will really push him off of that line. Into the site, though. Cosmic Divide now coming out from Persia as well. Talon might have snuck in, but do they have... Well, the range is one thing. The accuracy is a whole other aspect as well. Now just the positioning from Davy and Persia to clean things up.
Alrighty, 5-1. This is where we get the rifles back in the possession of the Talon members. Quite a large difference as well, as Primi is not finding a lot of these successful openers at the moment, or the team isn't finding, you know, openers and trades to...
Beginning to recognize the individual plays from Margaret and Persia, though. I mean, Ivy.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Pearl and you think of the last installment of this map, Margaret had a sensational one. A bit of a life game, but still, you know, when you look towards Nongshim, not able to get the job done. Timeout for Talon here. Recuperate. Have some thoughts. What you want to do. Gathering a lot of this A main control, looking for some fights in towards mid, not pushing too far up B long, for example, not getting a great operator line either at the moment. Credits have been toing and froing. So it definitely feels like Nongshim are set up nicely in the driver's seat at the moment. But of course there can be some roadworks, as we saw from map number 1, the tail end of what was happening there.
There's always a chance. That begs the question, what's the possible solution going to be? Frost as well as Jovi certainly trying to cook things up. Meanwhile, for Silkanon, keeping the team's spirits alive.
Bit of a frustration for Frost here. By the face mannerisms.
I mean, that's kind of one of the things that he has been mentioning before, right? Sometimes when a team starts to run away with some rounds, you know, comms go down. And
yeah.
You can never have
all a bit
that.
flat.
Primi coming back up with the op this time, but we'll see. He's up against Damby.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm looking in the beginning of this and I'm seeing no salvos, hearing no salvos again. So if I'm Ivy right now, I'm considering what are they doing differently on the line? Do we need to invest a drone? Do we need to invest a dart? No information on the Archros in towards Art, but you'll still silently creep on up. You've got the shear wall as protection for Killua. And you wouldn't actually mind to see Talon even be okay to go for a retake when you've got A main control, when you've got a Steel Garden, the team can rotate Flowers, rotate Secret, provided that Nongshim don't overextend into those situational spots.
Nongshim, though, I mean, if they're taking this carefully, just tripping that shear wall, it does force some question marks into Talon's minds.
It's a really early pop on the stealth drone from Cruz, but not seeing anybody out through long, not seeing anybody through club. You know that it's got to be a mid-angle at the moment, but whether or not it's through street, so you pop the camera for the information, you see nothing, well, you know it's outside Art.
So they're all around this spot now, set up perfectly for Killua to find at least one, but tough luck. Damby not able to make it out alive. Primi then with the Dimensional Drift to retrieve all that beautiful info. Survey complete, he says. And the smokes come up. Hunter's Fury to possibly allow Persia to sneak on through, but it's not going to happen. Cruz says no. Ivy, though, out from stairs. It's undetected. Thigh still kind of turns back around, but it's all down for Cruz, who spins around 90 degrees to find both kills. Triple kill in the round to bring Talon up to 2.
Yeah, the informational game in this round for Talon was actually a bit more superior than the likes of Nongshim, I'll be honest, right? Timing to get all the info at B long, recognizing that with the A main push and seeing nothing, that, well, they're either going to be mid, as I've said, either through Street or wrapping through Art, and it is the latter because you've got the camera available up through Street as well. So just really nice, you know, kind of defaulty with a little bit of aggression style from Talon there.
Something that they needed a lot of.
Now a bit of a different scenario where you hear a little bit more of the utility over through A-Long. You hear Darby just sending it, an overdrive angle you would expect here, given that the Stinger is the purchased weapon. Timing. I don't actually know if they spotted Persia, and they have absolutely did not. He has just timed them into oblivion. Cruz. That one hurts.
Yeah, that's certainly one where the Elder Scrolls will kind of scream your name down into doom. Jit Boys left to pick up the pieces.
And what can Francis sell over here with a single drone? A dart to become available soon as well. They now actually recognize the camera. So you got to think, as Nongshim, if they're getting information from the camera in Street a lot of these rounds, we should be destroying that to remove info from them, because that has been a spot that Talon have just commanded in this map so far. Like, if Nongshim went there, they would be dead.
So kind of broken or recalled. And then the sudden peek out off of timing.
30 seconds though, Quack, and you've still got a Steel Guard on his Killua. He is at the wrong site, so it's down on what Primi can do with the operator. And if he misses a shot or dies,
he doesn't have the gate crash out. And up around dugout, it's ooh.
Are they going to smoke that though? Generally, it's,
yes,
you know,
would.
When you've got this small position, you do.
Well, it is Primi. He's going to flash himself into another peak, but shut down by Ivy. Now Killua on site, but not in position to deploy the Steel Guard. And this is a tough, a hairy position to be in.
Yeah. Is Jit Boys now going to save a 1 versus 4? I mean,
probably.
You're still contemplating credits for Talon 2. Dai, Cruz, Killua. They can invest in the next round. Jit Boys saves. I mean, he could potentially even drop something for Primi. So it's not the worst save, but it is a bit of a hurtful one, given that Nongshim will elevate their score onto 6. Darby also holding on to the overdrive, not needing to invest that one. Have that available for the next. An operator to be taken over into the next round as well. So I'm looking towards Nongshim being able to potentially extend the lead. See what damage Margaret may find, and it's going to be the third to close the round.
Yeah. Footsteps, shots in the back. What you gonna do? And that's kind of
do when they come for you.
Nongshim. I don't know if that's the song that they will go for, but you know, this replay right here, it's one of the problems that has been plaguing Talon for now, right? Always trying to push out. It's not quite like Haven, especially with no secondary plan.
The thing is right now, Nongshim are really bleeding down the clock, right? And they are ultimately winning the Talon duels in crossfires, in seeing some overextensions from Talon.
Precisely that. Well, early salvos this time.
Yep. Situate Premi on the line, but is he going to be able to find the opening kill? It's a bit of a more shallower off angle that Darby would have to stay scoped in. Or for Persia to just absolutely book you.
Peeked into it.
I was talking about the credits a little bit earlier and what the expectation was going to be from Talon, that they would be able to force into this round. Now, oh boy.
Flash. Well, decent on the dodge, but still kind of leaving Killua alone in the cold. Jit Boys now getting gunned down as well. Still, once again, back up into the B-long position. Dambi is just having a live game as well.
And they saw Thigh run back, tail between his legs over at the A site too. So they know where he's going to be able to come from. You can plant anywhere you want. Margaret's just going to pick up the ulti orb first, because with the plant, he'll get the lockdown. So you've got that available in the next round. This is a very well-adapted round for Nongshim here, Quack, because they've seen some aggression from Talon up at A-Long as well. This time, they set the Archros ready to flash and swing together as a team, right? How often have we seen just Ivy peek there by himself? This time, changing it up, finding a very clean round against Talon.
Stupendous. If you're thinking for Talon, yeah, it kind of also looks like the mentality affecting them a little bit somewhat. For repeatedly looking for the duels. Thaya now at least able to fend off the first assailant. Not the second one.
No longer for this world. That's another one going the way of Nongshim and Talon. Do you consider the second time out in the first half like your counterparts in the previous map?
Depends on the coaching staff, perhaps.
Depends what Frost and Jovi are hearing in the comms. You mentioned a little bit earlier, sometimes when there's a lot of these losses happening for the rounds, Talon can go a little bit flat. You know, it's on to Cruz, essentially. How excitable can he be for the team to get back into it?
Not just Cruz, but for the rest of the boys as well. Like, how are they... You gotta understand what they're feeling like in their heads. Why are they peeking out so much? Well, at least for now, giving them the freedom to do what they want. You got another A peek, but it's the outlaw for Dambi.
And we're expecting this map to come into the veto, right? We're thinking to ourselves, all right, you've had a week to prep. If you're doing veto chicken, you know what's happening. You're thinking, all right, there's going to be a scenario of counterplays. Not really seeing too much from Talon, unfortunately, at the moment.
Oh, that's a little bit greedy.
Yeah, you're just expecting on the back of an Armageddon that Nongshim are going to respect that and fall all the way back. Not that they're going to re-peek into that one, so that's just great realization from Darby. Some great timing there. With Primi down, with Jitboys down. This is just an eco to come through from Talon, so you're not going to read into this one too much. I mean, an Armageddon on an eco as well is quite costly when you're not going to have that for the remainder of the half.
I know. You're at round 10, 11, 12. If you don't have the ult, what do you have?
Well, you've got Killua with the Steel Garden who's been protecting that for the next half at the moment. Hey, we've seen a lot of these rounds in Pacific where someone has been holding an ultimate and they don't use it for the half, and then you're just wondering, well, what if you invested it, right? You know?
It's also tough for him. I mean, you haven't really been put in a scenario where
use it,
you can't...
Which I was a little bit surprised. Like, when it was the 4 versus 2 in the previous round where he's on the back of A site and he's toing and froing between the church side of things and the art side of things. Cruz, see if he can get something here, which he won't. You know, all the members of Nongshim are on the site. He's got the rifle. He potentially could have used it there, but the expectation is that as soon as you rip that back site, you would just be overwhelmed by 2 rifles at a crossfire, you're done. So I understand why he's not using it in a couple of scenarios where he may have been able to use it, but it's also a scenario where you do have it. Nongshim are getting into these sites. Talon have shown us that they're capable of playing post plants. Just realize a little bit earlier, let's just switch into a post plant and use it.
Exactly.
Gain a bit of strength with that.
We haven't really seen that so far, though. Now we have what could be a last-ditch effort in this first half. Primi out with an op.
And I highlighted a little bit earlier, this camera has been quite common from Talon to Overlook Street, so you would expect it to be potentially destroyed by Nongshim here.
A main formation as well, so we'll see. Steel Garden for both sides. Wow.
Stacked Steel Gardens.
Oh, Margaret, though.
Yeah, no lurk held, but now information is there.
Yeah, decent recognition from Cruz. But still, Nongshim have quite a bit of freedom.
There could be a world in which Margaret wants to meet up with the team and drop a lockdown here for this B site. I mean, they would still have to contend with all of the Sentinel util that's going to be here, but the way the positioning is going from them, if Francis can keep some eyes towards the A site with this start, that's all he needs to do with that. Remove a body from this B site, use the lockdown, set yourselves up a great opportunity, because now you're thinking for Thai, he's either going to have to Cosmic Divide or drop the Nebula.
Your Talon, though, you still have that camera, but yeah, the Cosmic Divide. Tough position for Jitboys. See if he can unearth himself from this one. The relay bolt, though, the stuns. Still, you got decent support. Assistance out from Killua now. Looking for the 3rd kill, but denied.
Plant, eventually, has to go down. Margaret's holding that one. Cosmic Divide starts to fade as well.
Okay, oh, the drone keeps Primi offline for now, but also Cruz to set up a long flank. Spots out the first. Couple of bursts in will remove Margaret from the equation. Just Francis and Persia left. And if you're Talon, you should have a decent idea of where they are. Cosmic Divide to block off Halls. But Nongshim, they're nowhere to be found. Persia, good on the first. Francis for the trade. And it's just Cruz oscillating back and forth into the crosshairs of Francis. What a 1v1.
Yeah, that had to be a pretty swift shot to come through from Francis there with 33 HP. but the job gets done in a deficit position on that retake. I'm questioning, right? I'm saying Talon probably need to shift themselves, their mentality in towards a retake scenario, which they kind of did, right? You're expecting the numbers of Nongshim around this B site when they're trying to get the Cosmic Divide down, when they're after the lockdown, you're generally expecting a plant to go down, you've got your numbers, you're retaking or you're catching them off guard just before they're planning or while they're planning. Great shot at the end there from Francis. Like, I like the adjustment from Talon, just not able to get it done. So in the last round of this half, it's either 9-3 again or it's 10-2.
10-2, certainly on the cards right now as well. You might have a full buy, but Nongshim have been getting away with daylight robbery. Look at the elevated angle now.
You still got Darby holding this overdrive with an operator to Leadstead over at B now. You got Francis as well with the Hunter's Fury.
Ooh.
Side of Talon. Well, they don't have a cruise. They might not have a thigh.
Okay, they have a thigh. Will they have a Killua?
Yes,
they do have a Killua.
So they're one away from Dimensional Drift, one away from Neural Theft. These can actually be quite large ults in a maybe a retake scenario, in a defendable scenario towards this B side.
It's the overdrive quickly and swiftly dealt with. Hunter's Fury allows for some cushioning though, but now gotta watch out for the spike. Plant Razor Vines keeps Talon away.
Couple of stars as well for Pershing here.
To continue blocking off potential sight lines. Meanwhile though, Talon still dicey, but Primi now coming online. The heaven position, the dimensional drift into the peek out from Persia, where Thigh finds the final headshot. Decent recovery coming alive from Talon, but it is still a 9-3.
Yeah, it's those jewels in mid that really finally going Talon's way work a treat, isn't it? The fact that Thigh gets it and Killua gets it, the newer rookies towards this squadron, and the fact that, well, Darby is just, this time, throwing himself in.
This time,
yeah. 9-3 on the half. I mean, we were saying the story in the previous map, right? There was not enough space given towards Nongshim to be able to try and mount a recovery in the second half. They started to do so with the 6 in a row before ultimately losing the lasting 2 for the 13-9 score result. This time, though, will Nongshim start at the pistol or will Talon start to mount the comeback? So let's get on to our trivia, our questions, and our selections. What's been more impressive recently? Primi's mechanics or Cruz's IGLing?
You got finger hearts versus bicep bumps.
I mean, last map, it was kind of both, with Primi just absolutely shooting and Cruz having some really good movement around the map for the team. But I would probably say Primi's. Oh, in this one right now, none.
Snacks.
In this one right now, none.
You got snacks.
Which snack is the goat?
These are
Is Ivy and
snacks,
Margaret a snack?
True, maybe.
Are they a snack? What are they even holding?
Nongshim snacks, I'm assuming. I believe Chova would be explaining that on his watch.
For the Aussies out there, Ivies kind of look like chunks of saladas. I like saladas.
Okay,
so.
then what about Margaret? I believe those are the like fruity like pie things.
Like fruit mince pies?
No, not mince pies, but they've got some
fruit mince pies. You know what those are?
Yeah, sort of.
I like those.
You might
but
like Margaret.
Which snack is the goat though? Ivy or Margaret? I'd say Margaret overall, but Ivy's kind of stepped up this series.
You're my snack, Komodo.
Although, to be fair, there was a point in where Margaret, Francis, Ivy, and Darby all had 11 kills, and now Margaret and Francis have got one more. So it's a big effort by committee, and I did hear that, by the way. You calling me a snack. Okay, we've got confirmation. There are Korean snacks named Ivy and Margaret. Oh, there you go.
Wait, they actually
are named them. Imagine if their IGLs are named after the snacks.
Oh my god.
Imagine if that's the law.
That would be pretty wild. Still, though, we are kicking things off into the second half right now. Talon slowly meandering forward on this attack towards middle, where you've got a lot of Sentinel utility.
I mean, how great has Margaret always been around holding down connector, holding down straight on this killjoy?
Individually.
So if you're going to try and counter anything, it would definitely be him there.
Got some support with the Stars and Francis as well now, but the pathing for Talon suggests for them to possibly push through.
Well, it suggests a little bit of awkwardness for Francis, so needed the timing of the smoke. It's a fake, and it's gorgeous. Persia Francis with info as well. More kills to be collected, and this round is just turning upside down for Talon.
Just Thigh. How can he possibly turn this back around on its head, back in towards Link, and he's got so many targets. Now spotted out by Ivy. There's no chance in hell. Nongshim picks up the pistol on the second half. And it's just tough for Talon to recover.
I mean, you may very well expect it, but we did see a similar scenario on the previous map where there was a 9-3 lead for Talon. They picked up the pistol the second round, and then things started to go upside down. My neck of the woods. So we'll see if Nongshim are going to get upset in this next round, or with only the single kill coming through from Talon, that they just go for eco in the next one and then have to play for a bonus.
Nongshim have a really good chance at rewriting the story. The tables have turned around, and if Nongshim can prove that they are the team to really shut things out decisively, quickly, oh, it's going to be dark days ahead of Talon.
I mean, you technically already knew that Cruz was there with the salvos. It doesn't really matter that he got scanned.
Nothing really much forced up either. Meanwhile, for Nongshim, oh boy. Outlaws, judges.
Yeah, Margaret with a judge at that position. I generally would say that's like an ace waiting to happen if they all flood him again, but
Thankfully.
didn't happen on Garage in our first map.
True that.
Well, seeing what these pistols are going to be able to deliver from Talon here.
Not finding too much, and that just suggests to how Nongshim are playing disciplined around this one as well.
Yeah.
Possibly anticipating the judge on the other side of the door, so Talon flushed over into these.
Good timing on the drone, actually, from Francis here.
Yeah, definitely spots him out.
Oh, he's
Ooh,
got
the foot.
So he's got two infos. There's an Arc Rose available, already set up for a good flash. You've got Thorns as well to make things a little bit tricky with 30 seconds to go. You know the Talon are going to end here.
Yep, all the rotation straight in. Even with some shots whipped past, it's okay. We've got the judge. We've got the shots. Every single semi-automatic rifle straight into the sight.
And you're taking 4 into the next round as Nongshim as well. So things are looking hunky-dory for him. But this is the round. This is the scenario that we started to see Nongshim come back at 11-3. We're copying and pasting with flipping our team names. So let's see if Talon's buy up in towards now round number 15 is going to net them another one on the board.
That's the deal, isn't it? Can Talon turn things around from here on out? They've got the buy. I see you looking over to see what's happening.
Yeah, I'm looking a little bit to see how Tropa's doing. You know,
is he smiling?
I think he probably recognizes it's not over just yet. So let's just be calm.
All right, all right. So far, so good. Talon picking up the alt orb.
Yeah, getting a little bit closer for it, but the opening duel, Francis nearly caught out. He can start to get spammed as well. He's definitely locked in towards the dugout here, but they don't know that Ivy is also here to assist. A sheer to be baited out by Killer. Oh, yeah, needs to make sure he properly does that one, which he does. So an avenue a little bit later on available for Talon that they don't have to contend with. Meanwhile, not a lot of shifts around the map from the rest of the Nongshim lads.
Yeah, chipping off so far, not a lot of information, so Nongshim just happy to stay tucked back in.
And there's contingencies at play as well from them, right? If things go towards the B site, Darby's there to spot some early information with the Outlaw, do some damage and get out. They can refresh that Nebula at the front.
So it all comes down to A.
Yeah, you're trying to funnel them into A as well. Alarm bot to play first info. And you can pop the Thorns, stave them and hold them back a little bit. Francis finds Primi too.
And that pulls down the attention to the rest of the team. They have to launch a quick assault into the site, but it's being halted. The drone, the players all marking the positions, darts towards the back, and a lot of paranoia for the players on the side of Talon. They're checking their sixes, they're looking towards their front. Jit Boys then pushing out, and Killua suddenly finding the lineup. Off towards the back though, Margaret with the Ghost. He had a judge, so looking for the range. Just Ivy left, who hasn't really been spotted. He's got nothing but a Ghost in hand. Talon will be able to find the final frag necessary to possibly mount a comeback.
Maybe. I mean, Talon, they took it slow and steady in that one. They lose Primi first, who's not been able to really find some opening kills in this map. But the fact that they do get in towards the site, they get the plant down, they can start to shift into just making sure they're removing heads from shoulders. And they do so quite convincingly at the end there. I think every single one of them was a headshot. So it's good to know that the crosshair placement's still there for Talon in this game. Just needs a little bit of the timing and decisive decisions, it feels like now, to start to really stack on top of each other.
That said, though, that was a round where Nongshim, again, didn't have the full kit. Not all the weapons available.
Yeah.
So this allows for Margaret to play, a little bit safer towards Connector.
Getting a little bit closer towards Hunter's Fury too for Francis.
Playing closer up towards A main as well.
Information that Primi blindsiding towards Art. Alarm bot too, but they're going to go for a peek together, not popping the thorns too early as some extra utility invested.
A lot of pokes. Dambi, though.
Oh, this is risky for Premi. You'd hopefully see him get the kill, or either traded by Kilowatt.
Meanwhile, for Margaret as well. Look at how he sidesteps the angle. Premi, though, now finding Dambi.
Got the kill.
Good
Now,
chance.
The onus is on Nongshim to be able to bring it back, so it's going to be an unconverted opening kill, untraded rather.
Given the movements on the map, though, already, Nongshim shifting weight over onto its alpha site now. Connector position, as well as dugout. Francis. Salvo's coming in for the hit, and that's when Killa finds his mark.
Yeah, we've seen Francis really favor jumping up on top of that half wall to try and do some things, so this time an expected
connector
one
again.
for our talent.
Yeah, this time they've got the lurks all around as well. Even if Ivy wants to try, he can't really make it out alive. 2 left. And Talon, much more careful consideration into this execute.
Much more clinical in this round as well, right? The fact that it starts off with Premi finding the first kill on towards Darby, the rest of the team just together as a unit, making sure that Crosshairs are there, not being too overzealous with their utility and trying to sacrifice bodies and get the trades out. Just kind of dotting I's, crossing T's, so to speak. And they will be rewarded in this bonus round. Oh, sorry, the round after the bonus to come away with 5 alive.
If you can do that. You got the alts beginning to cycle up. Always got to dot your I's and cross your T's, because if you don't do that, then they're just lines on paper.
Hang on, I've got paper right here.
Okay, what are you saying?
1, 2. Nope, that's an X. That's 2 lines that make an X. And you know what? X marks the spot. And this time, it is the spot towards A that works out again for Talon. So whether or not we're going to see any sort of adjustments for the likes of Nongshim now, we kind of need to a little bit, right? Being more on the passive variety. Though, I look towards what they come in towards this round with and what they've got soon. If Ivy is able to get one away from the Steel Garden early and he picks that up with Death or an extra kill orb, you also have the Hunter's Fury. Those can be pretty potent come your next round. You know, we're in the sort of mindset now where Nongshim need one to at least push us into overtime. They've seen Talon more often than not trending towards this A site, so stack some extra numbers here.
Utility as well, possibly into different spots, and then to allow for Dambi to slither through. Decent shot coming out from Francis. Margaret as well, and the numbers have turned around.
And now it's down to Persia. How early do you spot out this information to drop your Nebula, to ask for some assistance? Well, now you know.
Oh. Will you stay alive long enough as well for the rest of the team to get into space?
Caruso's just going for the plan,
Whoa!
and his shoulder was sticking out. I don't know about that one, Chief.
Killed down into 2, thanks to the shoulder peeking out, and he snaps onto the last as well. That's map point!
For all intents and purposes, that was the thrifty for Nongshim. They had no business really winning that round, and Talon have had a bit of a blunder. I need Persia vision in this round. Trade out from Francis, great one from Margaret. Yeah, there's a couple of rifles, okay, so it's more of a half rifle.
Oh
Look
my
at that,
God.
the shoulder stuck out. That's why I'm questioning, why is Cruz going for the plant on the corner? The Nebula is in a spot where your body may get seen if you're turning, and yeah, it was. That was a round that really Nongshim had no business in winning.
Your heart aches on that one. Big blunder if you've ever seen it, and that could spell the end for Talon on this map, which would quickly send us into map 3, but for now still trying to put one foot in front of another into the B site this time.
Yep. Everybody changed together on Talent to go in towards the B site. You
Quick
need to see
rotation from Nongshim.
something big from Persia again.
Oh, and he's playing hooky around this smoke. Jit Boys, though, so far so good on the recognition. But the spam is now coming out from Dambi. Even odds. Hunter's Fury just
No smokes.
gives him a little bit more advantage in the retake as well.
You're going to have to see something big come up. I mean, Premi, do you even consider a dimensional drift here? Because information, yeah, but you need kills, man.
He's done it, though. So it comes down to Jit Boys and Killa if they are able, indeed, to hold around halls. The sheer at least buys time. And then for Ivy to look for the shots with the elevated position. Fastlane now out. Where is Premi, though? Oh, good on the first and the next. Now down for Francis and Ivy to try to look for a bit more spacing, but also considering the save as well as the exit. Francis out of position. And that's just going to be Talon obtaining the kills in spades. Premi, despite the ult just spent, picks up 3 more.
I said he needed kills, didn't I? I said he needed the kills, so finally he's able to shoot the opponents when they're on his screen. And he will meet up to double digits. I mean, you know what Persia's trying to do there. He's trying to play anti-flash to double on down, to get multiple. Just right in there.
Remaining.
Still came close, Dion.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Primi certainly needed to do something individual. I mean, that's the kind of thing we're lacking at the moment. Talon's individuals, we're not having any superstar moments.
As well as the reads and the calls. Call this time, though, having 2 successful B hits thus far. Into A this time, Talon. But you got 3 marching up B long from Nongshim, and that immediately deletes Jit Boys.
Yeah, what are they favoring on the orb over there as well to get closer to any ultimates? You've lost Ivy now at this A site. You've got Margaret surrounding it, but he has to wait for this Nebula to fade.
Cosmic Divide as well, possibly, but we'll see if Killua and Gang are able to create more space towards back sight. The shear wall instantly placed. Steel Garden at ready.
Yeah, be big.
Spots him out. He's not going for it just yet. There we go. Finds the kill, and then Steel Garden ripped away. So less chance for Nongshim, but they've avoided it so far. So back into position. Primi did not expect that whatsoever. Killua, can he hold down with just the Phantom now? Tries to reposition and regroup with his teammates, where Margaret then springs out from stairs! He's lined them up! Just the last one left alive, and it's Thai. The rookie has so much to do in this one spot, and Nongshim are not letting him come back into the fight.
There's no time.
Nongshim, though, can't get the defuse all the way through, so time bought just enough for Talon to hang by a thread.
Thai's timing on the gravity well there was actually millisecond perfect. I saw the body block coming through from Nongshim to try and get it to half, because if that got half, they get the round. But a Red Bull clutch from the grave to come out through from Thai. I wonder how much the replay is actually going to be able to show us on the timer. A lot of kills to be collected upon. Margaret with the double there. I don't even know if he knew Killua was there. We will miss it at the end. He thought it was done as well. He thought it was done. No, your timing was there. They literally by the millisecond.
It's fair.
Just missed the half.
Another one of those scenarios for Nongshim, isn't it?
Oh, may very well be. Is that, you know, the scenario in this map, though, to have Talon start to mount the comeback?
The straw that breaks the metaphorical camel's back. Nongshim onto a half buy. Well, they still got decent rifles.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, you know, an opener or a good call here from Nongshim that can clip the wings of Talon.
Talon, though, for the first time in ever in the second half, full force, 1-4 split down into A main. Nongshim have no real idea.
I think Nongshim are still fine with how they're wanting to play this defensive side. Persia spots info at B. Utility to stave off any aggression. He's not seeing the likes of, you know, forward drone or anything like that. Cruz has just got salvos back online.
Players around stairs as well, which is always handy.
I mean, Margaret's turret, for example, has seen nothing at mid, so I think you're still all right for Nongshim. You're getting a little bit of an idea that you may have to play post-plant. Now with Persia playing towards the tower of B, I think that's going to be the avenue for Nongshim regardless now.
So pressure into gate crash, B site hit play.
30 seconds left.
And it's just Margaret alongside Persia to try to play spoiler around the site. The spike goes down regardless.
Oh, Ivy. See what the Steel Garden might do here as Jit Boys finds Margaret.
Steel Garden, there it goes. In for a chance for Danby to really wreak some havoc onto the site itself.
Yeah,
Thaido with a shorty, so quick. Still the gun's not available to Talon, and this could end it all. Just Jit Boys, who unfortunately up around by the pillar. It's a tough obstacle in his face. He needs to find and land the shots, but it's not going to happen. Persia ends it all. Francis as well as he finds the shots. Final scoreline 13-7, and Nongshim will stay alive to push us into a map 3.
Yeah, we've just seen some pretty massive dominance from both of our teams on the first half of their own map picks here in this elimination series. So we're getting a good series, I would say, until I cast my mind that Ascent is the third map, and I have absolutely no idea what is going to happen on that one. Of course, I don't need to worry about that one. That's our analysts that have to use their brains to try and figure all that sort of stuff out. But I am keen to kind of see what their thoughts and take were on this map. Of course, one that we're, you know, expecting that Talon would have thought would come in towards this series. But we're not seeing a lot of great decisions from them. We're not seeing any counter plays. These are the sort of things where I'm thinking that they would be prepared for.
Precisely that. Map agent comps or not, you still have to acknowledge the first half on this map for Talon just looked absolutely haywire. They looked as though they were in disarray. At times they thought to push out, but they kept on getting shut down by Nongshim, but they didn't change up their game plan.
Yeah. I wonder what is going to happen on the next map as well, right? Clean slate the option for an Icebox or an Ascent for Nongshim as well to have a little bit of a ponder about, but it needs to be, back to the drawing board for, I'll say both of these teams, right? Because we've got some real greatness from both of them on each of the maps, and we've seen a little bit of sloppiness. So getting everybody ready for this next map, adjust that.
One way or another, what is for sure is the fact that this win will definitely push either one of these teams past their developmental stage. Is it going to be Nongshim? Is it going to be Talon? Our desk will answer that question.
We are going to a map 3, and I don't know why we expected any less at all. Neither of these teams are ready to go home just yet. They want to take it all the way, and for Talon, unfortunately, this is what we expected on Pearl. This is what we were worried about.
I mean, for me, this was almost the exact inverse of map 1. We saw Nongshim really run away in their first half, and then Talon tried to claw their way back, but they just couldn't manage it. In my mind, it's very obvious why Nongshim seemed to pick this map. They're very, very comfortable there. They did a great job of getting the spike down, winning 9 out of those 11 post plants. Just a very, very dominant half.
This is why people respect ban Pearl against Nongshim.
Yeah.
Like, the only team that's been able to topple them was Zeta. Peak performance, barely scraping a win. It took all 24 rounds for Zeta to get that done against them, but even some of the best teams in the league respect ban Pearl against Nongshim. Talon left it in here. You could see them start on the defensive side. It did not go well for them. Nongshim really ran circles around them on attack. Francis changed things up to go over onto the Sova, and he was really dominant in this game.
Literally running circles. You could actually see Nongshim running circles all over Talon. It looked like Talon were a little bit lost of what to do once Nongshim actually found that momentum and were actually able to get that one up on them, especially on attack.
Yeah, I mean, I also think a big thing is the Nongshim players came in shooting in this map, where in the first map, I felt like Talon were walking all over them, winning that aim duels. We saw how crazy Primi went. We also saw Jit Boys get so many lurks in, but on this, this map, we see Francis, we see Margaret up there, who were not able to have a performance really at all on Haven.
Yeah, Nongshim, I think it was an interesting kind of game plan for them on attack. Very 3-2 heavy, really skirmishy. They had double lurks in play a lot of the time. They would leave behind the Killjoy as well as the Vice on the attacking side, back towards top mid or backside of A main, and they would get double lurks in play. Half the time they were kind of conditioning different things of like, is it my Killjoy lurking up Art, or is my entire team standing right there with him? It was pretty hard for Talon to read, and they did a really, really good job isolating and kind of picking off Primi. Primi couldn't get any opening duels going on the defensive side like he was able to do on Haven. He started out that game 0-3 in opening duels. Either he was getting picked first, or he was getting found by the Sova utility, which is not something that they prep for. If you've seen someone play Sova before, rather than something like a Teo, you're going to be ready for certain util sets and play around them. But then when they swap even just an initiator, it actually is a pretty huge change of how you adapt and approach map control. And when you're prepping to play against that team, you're not preempting a lot of the recons that you're ready for, and you're getting caught off guard and you're getting scanned a lot more often, and that happened a lot on that attacking side of the game there for Nongshim.
I mean, bringing up how they were able to deal with Primi, right? Primi was such an important part of how they were able to take Haven so easily, right? So when we look back at some of the replays, we can actually see how Nongshim was just so ready and just so comfortable on this map compared to Talon.
Yeah, you'll see them first pick Primi quite a lot. You see one of the recons there that I was talking about over on B long. That's just a nice shot from Danby. I mean, Primi's not doing anything, poor there at all. He's just going on a little bit of a jump spot, but you can see them skirmishing, pushing in, picking off crews, and the whole time that these skirmishes are happening over towards B long, I mean, Persia's read this one perfectly as well, dodging the drone, and then the TP comes off there from Primi and picking crews as he tries to pick up that orb. Once again here over towards the B side of the map, they're able to find a pick, and the whole time these skirmishes are happening on the extremities, you've got Margaret and Ivy lurking in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and then on the flip side for Talon, we keep seeing them do this aggress into A main. This was a huge part of their defensive strategy, but fantastic mid-rounding and understanding from Nongshim. They came back and dealt with this A pressure constantly. As you say, that mid opens up the map, they're able to go back clear A, just dominant in the macro. And of course, we have to highlight Francis. I feel like he was so switched on this game, especially compared to map 1. I love him on the Sova.
He's had such pop-off games in Pacific thus far. Like, he has really been, for me, the best player on Nongshim, stepping up from Ascension. I've said it so many times, but I'll say it again. from Challengers Korea into Ascension, it's Dambi and Persia who are the ones you're really looking at. These are the big hitters on Nongshim. In Tier 1 here in Pacific, Francis has been by far the best player on Nongshim and the most consistent for me.
Oh yeah, and you guys must be very, very happy to have him on your team, of course, especially with this performance. But we are going into a map number 3, and we have to bring up the fact that both of these teams, they both are dealing with a little bit of that rookie kind of syndrome, right? Because we do have Nongshim, of course, their first year here in Pacific, and how can they deal with the pressure of such big matches like this, especially since this will eventually lead up to Masters Toronto. On the other side, it's easy to forget that Talon, they also are dealing with rookies, right?
Yeah.
You do have Tai, you do have Killua as well, and even Primi is still a rookie. It's easy to forget, of course, but they just brought him in last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think now that we're going to Ascent this map 3, I think so far this series has gone how we would expect, right? So Talon won their map pick of Haven, now Nongshim take it back on Pearl.
Yeah.
As we head into an Ascent, this is almost a completely unknown. We've only seen both of these teams play at one time, and both of them got absolutely rolled by RRQ.
Yeah, both got 5 and 13, 5 rounds off RRQ, who have been kind of trendsetters on Ascent. They have been looking fantastic on that map, so we really don't know what to expect. For Talon, what I remember about their comp is they played very Senti heavy. They have the Astra instead of the Omen. This is a stronghold comp that on the defense they couldn't really get much done. They were constantly aggressing in front of their utility, so I don't really get the sense that they played that comp that well. For Nongshim, this was one of these waylay disaster maps. 17% win rate on attack. They got absolutely nothing done, and Dambi was getting thrown into the site and killed for free.
I would very much be expecting a change from Nongshim here. I mean, we've seen them move away from this waylay totally, but will they go back to the Neon? Because even in Ascension, even in Ascension, when Neon was absolutely busted, Dambi was the best Neon in the world, they didn't play this map. They didn't run Neon on.
They didn't play Ascent in general, really. They only left it in one of the games on Ascension. I think it was against Riddle, and they threw Margaret on a Yoru. It was definitely not the best looking Ascent I've seen from anyone, so I just don't think it's been a map that Nongshim has really played that much. They played a little bit in Challengers Career, if I remember, but they definitely didn't play it in Ascension, and you haven't really seen it too much. They tried to go towards this Waylay style when they were going for that earlier on, but since then we can see the Waylay really hasn't worked well at all for them. I'm glad they moved away from it, so that really begs the question, what are they going to play here?
I mean, I think, in a way, comps obviously matter, but composure is going to be the biggest thing for me in this map 3. As you say, Mika, this is a team, both these teams have rookies. This is an elimination game, essentially a best of one to live your life in the playoffs. And I think both of these teams are very streaky, are very momentum heavy. So I think we have to look to this first half, the opening of the game. Who is going to win that pistol? Are we going to Stinger Force? Are we going to convert that bonus? I think in this, if I was coaching these teams, I would be looking to simplify. Use the strongest rounds, get ults online fast, and get rounds on the board. I think that's what you need in this, because the pressure cannot be higher for these players.
Definitely. And when we talk about pressure, again, you might go into that map 1 thinking you have a little bit of that safety net. We'll come back in map 2. You might go into map 2 saying, okay, we're going to bring it to map number 3. We are here now at map 3.
Yeah.
What is it going to be, especially since both of these teams, they really want that. Talon Esports, they were one of our representatives going into Champions Seoul last year. They want to prove that they can still make it on that global stage, that wasn't a fluke, or they weren't just lucky because they brought on Primi, right?
Yeah, very much so. And I do think Primi has some work to do. He wasn't really there in that map 2, and I think everybody knows this about Talon. Primi is a fantastic player. There's a reason we both picked him here for our teams. Yeah. He has to come alive. He can't have those middling performances. He's at his best when he's out in front leading the charge.
Yeah, well, Talon will start out on defense, so hopefully that can help him get rolling and get involved in the game. This is what I'm really intrigued by. Agent comps do come out. Nongshim,
wow.
What on earth is going on here? Dambi's on the Yoru. I don't know if I've even seen that before. And Harbor coming out for Francis, so a little bit of spicy comp coming out for Nongshim for sure.
Talon sticking with that Deadlock. Deadlock Vice, I think this is an incredibly strong composition on this map. The only thing I worry about is that we're missing any real hard flashes to get through this Harbor and Omen double controller.
They have changed things up though. Primi's over on the Jet. I think last time they were playing Yoru, and they've thrown Thigh on the Omen rather than the Astra this time around. So a little bit of a faster comp. They're going to have some more dive potential. They're going to have a little bit more of that maneuverability coming out for your Omen. So be interesting to see how they're going to make that work on attack. On the defense though, they are going to have a very, very strong comp and a difficult one for the boys on Nongshim to attack into.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very, very interesting map indeed. We're seeing a lot of changes over here. Is it going to pan out? Is it going to work well for Nongshim? Or will Talon pull through? We'll find out as we step into Ascent over to Quack and Komodo.
Thank you very much, Mika. I'm gonna do a little bit of a big-time impression, though. I mean, what is this comp? What on earth? I just don't understand. Nah, that's horrible.
Yeah, let him continue with that one, Chief, I gotta say. Yeah, Sin Prissa vibes. Gaming back at its finest
The harbor.
for the likes of Nongshim. France is back on the harbour. Of course, for those that might have missed the games during the Ascension run last time, this sort of comp was pulled out to counter Riddle Order specifically. It was their one-and-done comp. They never did it again. And for really, they never touched Ascent, and they probably shouldn't have, considering the RRQ game where they got a little bit destroyed.
But that's why it's so strange to leave this map as the final decider. It's such a curveball, not just for Talon, but Nongshim a little bit as well, because Talon hasn't really played this map that much either. But right now, a bit of a standoff. Primi watching down arches. He's got that little high tide blocking so far. Demi has snuck all the way in. Will Primi expect it? Does he have the flicks? The shots are peppering over, but he's still keeping... He's playing keep away.
Oh, Margaret has just found Chip Boys going for a bit of a jump spot over towards B main, and with Primi falling too, maybe this round might be over. You stretch out through market, you get towards the B site and cruise. It's going to be cascaded off.
He does push into it though. But Dabby, quick on the draw. Just the 2 players left alive, and they've got so much space to cover.
Camera's going to be available soon for Margaret as well. You've got the high tide now, but it's the information from Ivy. There's both of them. Can he get out? Okay, he's bailed.
Salvos. Decent kill for Killua, but still, yeah, you know, Nongshim had numbers in spades in this spot. There was no way Talon would have been able to fight out.
I mean, you think about this map, you think about this series, I don't think there's any universe, whether it be Alpha or Omega, any of those Earths that Talon would have been expecting this sort of composition to come through. I'm trying to cast my mind as well and think, is there actually anybody running a harbor on this map currently in all of our partner teams? There's not a single team is actually running the harbor. So yeah, it's definitely the curveball where Nongshim have provided the goods on it before, but yeah, not expected.
Well, we will see the cascade, the harbor once again coming into effect to block off A main for now. Both smokes up around this spot. While you've got Margaret, Marshall in hand. And just Primi.
Yep. Bit of silence. See if the numbers do sway in the favor of A or not, because, well, if they don't, then it's just an unfortunate series of events for Talon in the round.
It's already beginning to look like it's building up to that. You know, you got the smokes both going in towards A, and Talon were not entirely sure the hit was going over. Just Primi on the A side, and it's quickly dealt with.
Gotta be careful for the overextensions, though, for an individual member on this Nongshim side, but now you start to piece things together, maybe. Oh, we've seen a Teo jumping across, we've seen a Vice, we've seen nothing at B yet. Maybe they might be surrounding A. I mean, eventually they'll start to consider the orb will be heard by Persia.
Let them have one.
But apart from this, just the pistols. So for Talon, you're either going up the spike or you're trying to find, you know, some liquor damage, which is probably not going to be plausible.
I mean, you gotta make a move at some point.
Yeah.
One way or another. Certainly considering that someone might have pushed out in towards spawn, so it takes some time.
And to answer Pilski's question a little bit earlier, Darby's played one instance of Yoru in his career.
It's going to be the second?
I mean, I don't remember it. I don't think they got the dub, judging by stats, but I may be wrong. Maybe this is where we need our resident Nongshim expert in Chobot to have the law. But this sort of round,
fair enough.
It doesn't take an expert to kind of consider that Jit Boys is not going to win.
Wow, even with the grab net, yep.
And now we'll get the buyout to come through for Talon in the next round.
And this is where I do have to agree with what Morgan, Big Time, was saying on the desk as well. I mean, you can talk about the comps for sure, but it also comes down to composure, right? The mental game between both teams into this state. Because adaptability matters quite a bit, and if you're just completely surprised by this curveball and that tilts you for the rest of the map, the rest of the rounds, then you kind of just have to kiss your chances goodbye. Well, just don't want to have that happening.
This is the map that one of the teams will kiss their chances goodbye, potentially for you know stage 2. You got to have more weight on your shoulders, because if you're going out here, you're not getting any playoff points, right? You got to get top 4 for that.
Oh boy. for all the hype that has been built up. Now we've got the high tide, the execute into A. Talon, it's going to be a catch-up rotation being played. They've got 4 players already somewhere.
Salvo's in. Jitboys does have Gravnet as well, but the high tide starts to fade.
Oh, and Margaret towards the back. Spotted out by the Stealth Drone, thankfully, but still the outlaw shot all the way from A main, blocking off the first point of contact.
Oh, Margaret's lurk.
Oh my god.
Depending on timing.
Oh. Okay, just around the back of the crates, so Jitboys has information to go for the kill now, but in towards A main again, still Ivy, Persia, they're both able to block things off. It's a pseudo crossfire considering hell, and it's a tough position for Cruz to fight off of. Pushed out of the door, and it's just thigh left. Oh, look at that. Pepper shot's over with the classic right clicks. Francis from the back. It's Nongshim fanning all throughout, and they've picked up the bonus.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous round for Nongshim. And again, this is the sort of scenario which absolutely tests your team's coordination, your IGL's mid-rounding game plan decisions, your coach intervention to recognize what can be plausible. Because with no one running a harbor, with you probably not doing your research all the way back to the one instance that Sinprissa did run the harbor, it was, you know, highlighted. I think they said it in the interview that it was like against Riddle Order, I think. So yeah, this really comes down to a lot of that mid-round decisioning and what you can kind of recognize throughout the rounds.
Right, how much you're able to gleam off of these little utilities thrown in your face. Meanwhile, for Talon, you might have the double Sentinel, but how much can it really do when you're being tossed with so many uncertainties? Right now, it's Stabby down middle, but you have no idea that there are players all across the map. Oh, the shot's whiffed though, but Margaret will be able to recover at least one.
You got one.
Does get a chuckle out of Dion. Oh my god.
That's a hurtful laugh as well, because that one just looks absolutely just disgusting from Margaret, and not in the good way. Now though, maybe some stability, as it's just going to be Thigh left with 60 HP. Gun to be retrieved, but hunted maybe by Ivy. They're going to put more of a premium on just making sure the plant's there. The orb is already gone as well. You want to maximize getting this Reckoning for Francis.
Thigh TP's away.
And now we have the podcast.
Well, one thing's for sure, if we're going to launch this podcast episode, would be that Nongshim gets to, certainly build up towards a lot more for the remainder rounds of this first half. Meanwhile, if you're Talon, though, mental form has been something that's affecting them. Oh, look at that. Even
yeah, not able to
the
take the
sweep
gun
from Francis.
Nice hunt at the end, remove the bird.
Yeah.
So now we'll get the proper buy-up to come through from Talon and Annihilation available for Jitboys. Still waiting to sort of see what Premi's value is going to be back on towards this Jet as well. Not really given too much space around the map to play with. And these are the sort of scenarios where I'm also wondering, it doesn't really matter what agent comp that you're going up against. I still want to just see some sort of tandem plays come in on this defensive side, right? You're still running the Teo, you've got a Deadlock, you're expecting some sort of util combos. You've also got, the availability from Killua with the Vice, trying to play with some timings, trying to play with some stalling. Like, these are the sort of things that I want to see from Talon, right? Coming up with some sort of combinations. But a timeout to come in right now, and this is a really elevated Frost. This is... He's seen enough in 4 rounds, maybe. Because if you're looking at Talon, defensive side, double Senti,
It matters a lot. And another thing that we do have to consider, I think it's not brought up enough, is the fact that he's relaying this to Cruz. Cruz has to translate then to the boys, and he also has to lead them. He has to get them to listen to him. Sometimes that might not always be the case when your mental is down in the dumps. So we'll see how it all shapes up now that the timeout has been burnt. You have the double Senti. You need to work around it. And what we're seeing is, okay, sheer wall towards tree once again.
Yeah, a lot of those Senti useful towards the A site. You've got an Operator in the hands of Darby right now. Neural Theft and Reckoning. I mean, those can be some pretty good ultimates in these sort of scenarios that, again, as Talon, you're not really expecting what a Reckoning is going to be able to do. Now with the high tide, cutting across short, cutting across Pizza. Start to gather some further information with the drone as well. And this is the time where I think, what traps are you setting up? Center util at A. Leave Primi there. Rest of your forces towards B.
We'll see what the forces can do. So far, so good on the off angle. Killua off of the blooming cyber cage as well. down onto A, where once again, like you mentioned, it's all that utility.
Yeah, and now it's 2 unanswered kills as well, right? So it's the 5 versus 3 scenario for Talon. These are the ones that you cannot afford to drop. You don't give Nongshim a way to find an advantageous duel.
Trying to hold tight. Ivy, though, slowly trickling forward until Cruz goes in for the sidestep. At this point, 50 seconds remaining on the clock, sure, but surely not Komodo.
I mean, damage, really. The credits aren't in full control of Talon whilst they're, you know, around the 1500, 2k mark, but they're pretty gorgeous for Nongshim, so any damage you can potentially find here would it be good. Get closer towards an ulti perhaps as well, but now with just Persia and position locked in from the Archros, he'll just take the ulti orb on the map for
they can hear him.
For his takeaway.
He's going to try to at least play for the crosshair flick, but yeah, not going to be found. Primi detected on the A site. And it just shows how effective that one little timeout can be again.
Yeah. And now I'm sort of wondering as well, where the operator doesn't work out for Darby, do they change things again and instead of using that, go back to a normal rifle and try to adjust the game plan as well? Because if I'm looking towards a way that you're going to put pressure on Talon in this map, it's changing the way that you're playing the attacking side a lot. I mean, you're adding so much to, you know, their mental scape that they have to contend with. Like, if you're changing things up time and time again, it can really play with them.
Possibly. But again, they had 2 weeks.
Yep.
For all we know, this was fully well prepped, but you also have the studs. Ooh,
the perfect
on the gate crash.
The perfect player to get out of dodge in that scenario. Combo between Salvos and Gravnet, but it's Starmie to get out of there.
And then for the smoke to block off A short as well as mid. The drone out towards B main, but it's somewhat slipped away by Margaret.
High tide eventually to fall. See what Thai can do with the operator.
It's also a good call for then Talon to push out B main alongside that drone now to possibly just hold space. Not fighting too much against Nongshim. Maybe hearing the clone.
Yeah, it's got to pop the shear, then the thorns to buy time.
Oh, Primi.
He is the only one here at this A side as well, by the way. So you'd be looking at a situation where if he falls, it might be a post-plant killer with the Steel Garden, Jit Boys with the Annihilation. Oh, but Reckoning in.
To where? To B.
Yeah, to market for a bit of a B split. 30 seconds to go. They don't need to stick around here. I mean, I'm looking at Persia, who's still towards this A site.
Right? Forces Talon to scatter and try to pick up the pieces because now you're not entirely sure. Just Primi to try to hold for the angle. He does walk away with that one kill. The stray bullet catching square on Francis's head. So controller gone now, and that could help out in the post-plant scenarios, but...
I mean, Killer was gone, right? As well, so no Steel Garden.
Oh.
Bit of a sleeping Ivy means it's a 3v3.
So not too bad, Jit Boys. Good on the flank watch. Danby low HP as well, but he is in tree, and that's a spot where, unless you check it out, you might not know.
Gravnet comes online for Jit Boys now. Cruz does have salvos. Can they isolate a player?
Trying to. They throw it in towards Generator, where no one's hiding, so maybe some information to then collapse in towards Hell. Margaret, he's got a good chance, but full swarm. Now Danby out from the flank. Not detected so far until he gets a shot at the thigh. 2v2, but good shot from Jit Boys. Danby desperately jumps and dives in with the shorty, but still Jit Boys able to block it off.
Yeah, the fact that you're able to remove the flanking player in Ivy in that sort of scenario, it makes it a little bit more tenable for Talon to get that retake happening. If there was a kill in towards unders, yeah, maybe it goes Nongshim's way, but a couple of good adjustments, and when you're in a retake scenario in a 3 versus 3, I mean, you're just playing for a audible call and to go together as the team, right? So making sure that Jit Boys has the lasting protection at the end there as well, very well needed. So there's a secondary round gathered up by Talon. There will be another full buy across the board, however. And Army this time can secure all of the information with the Dimensional Drift. Flip it over though, Quack, and Primi with the operator. No one's looking for him to push on out, and he does get away. There's a second from Cruz. Nice opening double for Talon.
Nice might be underselling it, Dion. 3v5 now for Nongshim, and they are, well, trying to scrounge up whatever they can find. They do have the creds for the upcoming rounds, though, so still able to march forward with whatever confidence they have. This duo now challenging Killua. The Cove to block things off. Killua opts to play it silent.
Yeah, you don't want to give them an option where they could W and look to bring it back into an equalization scenario. So it's 3 versus 5. if Talon want to allow the plant to go down, they can. But now, I mean, Ivy, please don't be doing this one. He bites off more than he can chew.
And the Steel Garden ripped. So if you're Francis as well as Persia, not a lot of chances left. Paranoia to block off
Good
A
smoke.
main as well. And it's just Francis hiding inside of Hell. Certainly detected soon enough. Primi thankfully saving his teammates from certain doom. Francis to spray, but Primi coming back in once again. He's back again.
Yeah, just making sure that when there's numbers advantages for Talon, they're settling down a little bit. You know, you would expect in that sort of scenario, IGL crews to come in, come up with the decision, the team to be all aligned and how they want to go for their retake. But more importantly, that sort of round, it's having a good idea in the beginning, something that you haven't deployed just yet, to catch Nongshim off guard.
Certainly poetic. Now this will be Talon reaching the 3-point mark. If they get one more, that would be breaking that curse from the past 2 maps.
Yeah. Well, another big old buy. So these rifle rounds, we've seen Nongshim be able to get a plant, just not able to be successful in the post.
Alright now. Cruz though, this time with an op in play, in for the grab that combo for Jit Boys. Cruz then holding the angle. Does Nongshim expect it? Certainly not. They haven't been here before.
Yeah, hard to get him off that angle. Surprised that there was no, salvo investment from Ivy first to push him off a line, but irrespective now, 5 versus 3, another 5 versus 3 for Talon. And these sort of scenarios, as long as they don't overextend and give opportunity to Nongshim, they've been successful in winning them 100%.
Fake progression smoke to draw out utility now.
Yeah, you still got the showcase of a double sentinel though on this sort of scenario. Sheer to protect over in tree.
Also for Thine to possibly slip around with the TPs.
Jet Boys now, again with the Gravnet available. You got Cruz with the salvos online and an Armageddon. This sort of scenario, by the position of Nongshim, it's just a respect save.
It's also the fact that they would have to take so much time and effort just to clear every single position if they were to march back into A. So
Free timeout. Have a discussion here as Nongshim. You do survive with enough as well, where Ivy's going to be able to drop over a gun to Darby, you would expect. Francis is going to be able to be buying for himself. This next round, I'm kind of looking at it in a scenario where you probably have to dimensional drift, maybe off the rip, maybe wait a few seconds and use it, see if there's any over push from Talon. You've been holding on to that one for a little bit now, and well, if you were considering using it in late round for a sort of execute, maybe you need to use it early because you've been losing the first duels.
And that's sometimes what it comes down to, right? At least what we've been seeing for the past 2 maps. The first duels, so pivotal, paramount to both teams. Of course, on a map like Ascent, then you got the 3 clear lanes, and at times Talon pushing out onto them.
Yeah.
Nongshim get caught off guard.
And they're always changing up where they're pushing, right? It's either through cubby and a little bit of bottom mid, or there's some B main control. We're not seeing too much towards the A site, which you are fine with in the scenario that Killua's setups are generally over there as well, right? You don't necessarily need to. They're happy enough and confident enough that they're winning the mid duels, winning the B main duels. They can potentially keep on going for them until Nongshim show us an adaptation that they're no longer able to.
Still, though, that once again brings back the question of composure. How then does Nongshim find their way back into the game?
Yeah.
The timeout from Silkanon.
You got to remember as well, in the grand scheme of things for the 10 players in this lobby, there's a couple of youngins that are new to this atmosphere, right? So it can play with the mental.
Across both teams,
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it's a map 3 in a playoffs game for your survivability in a lower bracket with Masters slot on the line. Yeah, you got to have a bloody big gauntlet run. But,
I know. If you bring that, though, yeah, logically, you kind of want to back Nongshim, just given how they were able to persevere throughout that entire Ascension run.
I mean, they were kind of untested until the final one, though, the grand final.
True.
As I mentioned, though, Quack, using the dimensional drift off the get-go to try and get some early information was probably what I expected to come out in a scenario like that.
Oh.
Primi has just absolutely booked Darby.
He's got the hot hands this time.
Oh, and
Drone
no
not
one's
spotting out Margaret, but yes. 3 players.
Not expecting them, and it's another 5 versus 3 where the plant goes down. How successful have we seen Talon in these retakes? 100% of the time, and what do they have online now still? Cruz with an Armageddon that can absolutely rip you a new one at the right spot.
Jit Boys for the flank as well, but he's currently being marked by Persia.
Yeah, but Persia's really deep. He'd need his paranoia to come into play.
It's good information at least for the rest of Talon to then throw on more utility. Francis trying to survive inside of the cove. Killua to bring out the guns, and then for Persia as well as Ivy. Counter Armageddon back in onto the spike to buy some time, but it's been halved.
Yeah.
Killua hiding inside of the
that.
smoke as well. They're sticking it all the way through. Killua springing out for it, trying to swap over onto the shorty. Ivy for the kill, but the round nonetheless handed over onto Talon.
Yeah, when it's half defused and the salvos are not immediately from a close position, right, there is some trajectory, distance that you got to consider as well. How long do the salvos take to get onto the spike? Well, they've got to fly a little bit of distance, so really heads up from Talon to just stick it for the remainder of that one. And again, another 5 versus 3 scenario where Primi comes online for the first shot, just going through the wall when he recognizes that Darby has to equip the gun out of the dimensional drift. 5 in a row now for Talon on this defensive side.
And now all of a sudden the potential A contest deterred by the op shot.
Yeah, and you've already still got, forward positions at this B main spot as well, where no one's contested you on the line. There's a smoke, so you put in a drone to further gather some info.
Oh, and then the annihilation.
It's just missed.
Comes close.
But it's full control for Talon, and they kind of want to go for this. I can't blame them. I mean, how many times have they been getting opening duels? This time, Darby answers back, but immediately Nongshim lose their smokes.
Off towards A as well. At least though information then for Talon to regroup.
Oh, the timing.
Stamby, they found him.
And that comes down to maybe some inexperience and timing on this Yoru as well. Pushing all the way through the guts of mid like that. You're turning around at the wrong moment. Now Francis is in the open, and it's just for a trade. All of these shots have essentially been individual as well. Nongshim not able to get any trades happening. Meanwhile, Talon, every fight has essentially been a buddy system.
That's where we really got to consider as well. I mean,
yeah, the spike's above you if you did want it, Ivy, but with 20 seconds to go, it's the...
Probably not, yeah, trying to...
It's the save.
Tuck himself into this little cheeky corner. But that's the whole thing, Komodo. Once again, you might find some of these dots, right? Kills being traded or found all across the map, but being able to connect them together, that's where, especially with Dambi at the helm of things,
yeah,
things can kind of get away from the team at times. So 6-4 so far, and Talon still haven't really broken this streak.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this was a very big risk for Nongshim to allow Ascent into the pool with the way that these rounds have kind of been played out now that Talon have an idea of what they need to do to look to close things out as well. On the back of that timeout, it's kind of been flawless from Talon. I mean, it was a bit of a different look when you had Ivy on the Fade back then. You had Darby on the Neon and Margaret on the Yoru. That was what they buddied up this Harbor pick with.
Well, also now that the economical situation is turned around, Primi opts for the Outlaw. Margaret has been playing B main so far, but ooh, the shots somewhat whizzing by.
Ah, but it's another opener. Killer on a Francis this time. Nongshim have not been able to get any lead, any advantage, and I'm seeing a gate crash go towards Hell on the A site for Darby. He needs to be the hero maker if he wants to try and do it himself.
He's getting tagged, but at least infiltrates the site. With the clone trying to force a fake, so more reactions out now from Talon. And Dambi kind of calls it clear for his team to sneak in. He holds space around tree.
Oh, he's
Hot flash over, but yeah, that just definitely shows inexperience. Unfortunate, but still fantastic chance for Talon to launch themselves back in for the retake.
Another 5 versus 3, man.
We'll see. Off angle for Persia, possibly. Margaret to assist. Still, though, with all the utility coming in, the numbers and spades as well for Talon. You got possible grab net, swings out for Primi. He obtains 2 more. Chip Boys to finish things off.
That was really nice timing on the arc race from Killua. As soon as the smoke starts to fade, you pop that one out. Anyone looking to catch you when the smoke fades, well, they're just blinded. They're not dodging that one. Flawless round to come through from Talon. Another 5 versus 3 post-plant scenario that they just look really great in working for the retake.
Replay ops doing Dampy dirty in that one.
I mean, he's found the wrong timing. To be fair, if he dry walked through the smoke, it would have been better. They wouldn't have expected that. Potentially, who knows?
Potentially.
another scenario, another universe. It's 7-4. It's a 7 in a row for Talon. It's the second time out used by Nongshim because they recognize, well, we need to try and win this. We'll lose this 7-5 at least.
It is still close, so yeah. Nongshim believers still definitely kind of themselves in the game for that.
They were celebrating at the beginning, 4-0.
know.
You know, you're winning out of the bonus round and everything. You're
This
thinking,
is
oh yeah, we're cooking good tonight.
7 rounds in a row for Talon, though.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's it, though. Again, anything can happen. Both timeouts being spent once more in this first half. Last round of the first half for Nongshim, so that means Silkanon is going to have a way with a statement, really, to prop them up for the second half as well.
Well, this is where the value in the double sentinels is also working a good thing for the defensive side. I am keen to see how they're going to change it up on attack, but I mean, it's just
double op.
Huh?
Judge thigh.
They're rolling in money, Quack. They
know,
they
but
can have
still.
other guns on the floor ready to hot potato.
Yes. Oh, wait. Hold
Triple up setup.
Hold up.
Triple snipers.
Hold up a minute. Seriously? Well,
One of
so
them's
many
gonna work.
angles.
Yeah, Darby's just dry peeked out of bloody tiles. No one's watching him. Like, brother, protect your boy.
Brother,
Literally. Darby dead first yet again.
But that's the thing. Nongshim would have no idea who does this.
I mean, it's a staple thing. Having an operator peek for a tiles push, generally this is why you are smoking bottom mid on a map like this or smoking up towards short. It was a deeper high tide that you just disrespect as Primi.
You might not expect the second, the third op. Primi re-peeks, gets spammed through. Great shot by Francis.
And now you got to contend with Killua, who rips the Steel Guard, and in respect and in answer to the reckoning.
He swapped off his op, thankfully.
As I said, there would be a gun that he could switch between, and that's a bad TP from Persia on top of the shear to get over it.
Enough ammo for possibly a second, maybe a third kill as well. Tucks himself into the corner, spots the barrel, and that's instantly ripped away! The last one now, Francis, and he's stuck! Tries to look for the escape plan into B main, but he gets spotted out by Jit Boys!
8-4 at the half. That's a flawless run in from Talon to really dominate the defensive side. 2 timeouts invested for Nongshim as well, eventuating into nothing. Just so many scenarios where there's a 5 versus 3 position that Talon are already having the numbers game. They can let the time do its work. Killua, great round in that one. Good coordination from the team as well. I mean, Angry Frost was here in the timeout earlier on, and it certainly whipped them up.
It definitely was a wake-up call. I will say that. 8-4 is an incredibly good scoreline to start things off in the second half. The main thing is the team's got to keep this together. Things have gone a little bit off by the wayside from that first map where Nongshim found 6 rounds in a row. There is still a scenario in a world where Nongshim is able to turn things around.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking towards a little bit of the differences that this side switch-up is going to have, right? How are Killua deploying device? How is Jit Boys deploying the deadlock? I mean, I would say it's a little bit more mainstream when you look at Nongshim's composition. If you remove the harbor, for example, and you put in something like another initiator, that's a more common style, right? Where you got an Omen, a Cypher, a Taeho, Yoru. Like this is playing in towards sort of a shifted meta with the new Taeho, but a harbor in there. You're flipping it onto the defensive side. You can certainly see some things that'll come out from Nongshim, but I'm kind of wondering. We're not seeing opening kills. We're not seeing shots allocated for them, really. There was a lot of individualness from Nongshim on that attacking side. Can they adjust that on this defensive side early? Is Darby going to be finding any opening frags here?
You would assume he has to, especially with the gate crash that he has right now. Just a dump of utility all around A main, but sidestepped by Primi and Gang.
Ooh. Shots do pepper out. When the dark cover does fade, they can reimburse that with the Cascade. Doing nice and early, actually, from Francis there as they go
Okay.
looking for something different.
No bogeys on the radar just yet, though. No, Talon still playing discipline around the corners and angles.
Of course, no gate crash for Darby now. Just a Sheriff and some heads that he's hunting.
The repositions from Nongshim currently.
I wonder.
Right, a slight gap for Talon. They just made some noise towards middle.
Yeah, it's all 5 for Talon, though, towards this A side, and it's go time. Primi, gone.
Peppered through the smokes.
Dies low as well.
Still, opportunity for Nongshim abound. Talon, they might have the sight, but this is where that utility comes in. The double sentinel,
Yeah.
all-around generator, and they can potentially buy so much time. Now Killua peppering his own shots forward, but what is this? The wallbang for Margaret!
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay, repositions in towards Hell. Hiding inside of the survival smoke. Killua needs to find the shots. Jitboys comes in with the assistance. Margaret dropping down, but the utility not coming in alive. It's just Cruz, and he doesn't have any salvos either. The defuse getting stuck all the way through, and Nongshim answers back.
So Nongshim have now found both pistols. Cruz getting a couple of good cheeky kills at the end of that one, but
Okay.
both pistols for Nongshim, and they are still trailing, so they're going to have to do some heavy lifting at the beginning of this half. You know, they completely relinquish control of the A site, allowing Talon to get on in, but then a couple of shots come through. That's disgusting from Margaret. It's wild that he's able to find that one.
I reckon that's, where the kind of problem comes in, right? The pathing of the jet, and so, familiar now.
And I'm looking towards Jitboys on the deadlock as well, right? That sonic sensor that he places at the corner or the top of generator. I've seen a lot of Cypher players when they're able to set up towards a post plane at the A site, they drop that one because it's one that if you're running in for a retake, your feet will trip and you're generally dead. You can also see some adjustments by putting the sensor under Hell and it will trip anybody running on the top. So I'd be interested to see how much depth Jitboys has on this map with just the deadlock utility for post plants.
Seen it drilled by Cruz from other maps, Haven, for example.
Yep.
So hopefully, Jitboy is able to pick up where Cruz left off. But right now, though, at least with the pistols.
Well, we're looking for Nongshim to pick up where they left off on the beginning 4 of this map. Getting more.
Well, picking things up with the drone, they will find just that.
If they find 4 rounds, they're only tying things up, Quack.
That's
There's
right.
still more to go.
Still, though, I don't want to count them out. Now spotting so much information in towards B main, surely the rotation soon enough. Talon, though.
Yeah, they're going to start to gather some information towards A, but if they do stretch their legs up through mid, they're going to have to break the trap wire, and this is where Darby with an Outlaw, if he wants to go for the challenge there, potentially could get overwhelmed.
His Gate Crush has expired, so he's going to play for a different position, but that's when then Persia comes in with the out-dueled position on the Bulldog. Okay, Dambi back in.
Yeah.
Talon looking to recover.
Margaret's trap wire not going to do anything for him as Ivy
So far,
gets
so good, though.
removed.
Repositions with a Spectre!
Okay.
The last shot going through, and Dambi nail in the coffin. Rounds answered right back.
Yeah, 3 alive. I think you'll take that as a pass mark for Nongshim going in towards the buyout round for Talent. See what sort of bonus is going to be here. I mean, they did win the first one when they were on their attacking side, but it felt like, there wasn't just a adjustment from Talent, right? It took them a little bit to figure out how they're going to be countering the aggression of Nongshim. I think it may very well be another scenario where they've got to figure out how we're going to get throughout these defenses when we're a little bit lackluster on the initiator ability, right? You're going to have to see a little bit more come out from Vice, who Killua is playing a little bit more of that pseudo in it as well, right? You got the flash on the Archros that can certainly do that. Now though, Jitboys, you're done. And that's an opener, which Ivy technically pilfers with the util, but you'll take that one as a opener that's not traded.
Fantastic calling. Meanwhile, that's where you really want to see a lot more pressure on towards B main, but so far nothing found.
But this is the time where I'm, saying it's a couple of rounds in the beginning for Talon where they have to get ready for what Nongshim throw their way, and then they might wake up.
That's where the adaptability comes back into question. All of a sudden, the swings from both ends, and Talon caught unaware.
This may very well be a flawless bonus to come through for Nongshim, unless Cruz has something to say.
1v5, Komodo. I don't know. He's running straight back through spawn into 2 players from Nongshim, marking tiles. Persia spots him.
Yeah, just don't give him the solo duel here. Make sure you go in together as a team.
Whoa!
Somehow Cruz finds both
But
of
he's
them.
so low.
5 HP. Maybe he gets closer towards the Armageddon here. He's one with death. And he gets another one, so he's got it for the next round. Okay, I think you're kind of okay. Like, that's a bonus round. You probably should be winning that one as Talon, but the fact that, again, Nongshim have a clear idea on how they're wanting to play the beginning of that round. It's the stuff that they practice in either scrims if they've tried this one, or it's the stuff that they're theory crafting nice and early on.
Right, and that's why you see this very specific composition. You love to watch and really get enthralled by how the utility combo comes into play, but we gotta see Cruz as well.
Yep.
Dude has, some kind of an arm injury and he's still able to walk away with 3.
Yeah, but this is the strange scenario now, right? Where you've got an Armageddon, where you've got a Annihilation. If you're able to get a couple kills off that one, I mean, maybe you steal around back as Talon. Full 5 towards A main, however. Orb to be gathered up.
Don't know how much that's going to do, though. What is that?
That's just, you shall not pass A main wall, that one.
Are
one's,
Talon's a Balrog in this situation with just stingers?
I mean, that one's been prepared specifically by Francis for this sort of scenario. He's done his homework on the right wall placement.
How he's like, you got to calculate the trajectory of how you swing your mouse when the high tide.
I mean, low sense gamers.
True.
Rise up. Stingers, though, here for Talon. Let's see if they're going to be able to make work of this one. Again, Armageddon and Annihilation if they want to try and contend with it.
Gonna have to be a monstrous flash play. GrabNet right now, though, against Stampy, and unfortunately he will bite the bullet. Francis, however, bailing his team out of the tough situation. Just Cruz left, and he swings into his ultimate doom. Nongshim tie up the score.
Yeah, a little bit of an overstay from Darby there with an Outlaw, where the no-scope ability of that gun is generally not too accurate. He does get taken down, but it's good to see that Francis stamps his feet and gets a couple of trades in there. Valiant attempt for Talon with the lesser equipment, the Stingers to try and get something done there. Maybe with the end result, you might say a bit of an overinvestment with the Annihilation, but they start to get a little bit closer to a couple more of these ultis now as we are tied up 8-8. This is where we start to see some depth in this map.
This is where you need to see Talon try to find an answer back as well.
Yeah, for sure.
The op from Dambi, though, I don't know if Talon are prepared for it.
I mean, you know that the credits are available to come out with a gun such as this one, a shorty to destroy the stealth drone. A bit of a spot out too, but I mean, you're rinsing and repeating a lot of this Harbor utility where you've already used the drone to get in front of it. You'd have to sacrifice a body to get any farther forward. You do have your shear there as Killua as well to just make sure that nothing afoot happens in B deep. But we start to put our attention towards the A site, don't we here? No more Harbor utility until that high tide comes back online, and Francis, he won't know that he's done that much damage to Killua. But I don't think you can call for the team to come back to B, can you?
Yeah, not enough. Killua's got to do a little bit more. Meanwhile, towards the A side, just a full hit, and down with a TP, the corner left unchecked. Jit Boy's finally coming up with the goods, but still, it's not enough. Killua?
You got Francis, but can you... I mean, you're going to have to call for Cruz to get over here.
That's
How much
right.
time can you buy by yourself?
That's the whole thing. He might have flashes, he might have vines, but...
They could technically leave and try to cut him off. This is why Killua has to go back and help Cruz get across. Ivy, he actually could give them an opportunity here.
Oh, Killua, he's peppered Ivy down by a bit. Cruz!
There's the opportunity. He's given them a 2 versus 2.
Overstayed, you're welcome, Ivy. And now there's a chance still, though. 2v2, 10 seconds for the plant, and that offers some opportunity to Nongshim to close in onto market, at least until the sun comes in. Cruz then has 1 second left until the salvo is back, so gets himself into a position where he sends it over. Further time being bought.
Arcros 2.
Killua hiding inside a boathouse, both players. Trying to play it safe. Oh, and off the flash! It's going to be a great kill! Just Dabby left, and he marches forward until the phantom shots from Killua finds a round back in for Talon.
Yeah, the difference if Francis is able to finish him off through the spam in the beginning of the round, or maybe if Ivy doesn't go for the cutoff kill, the neural theft to secure that information. But I'm seeing in this sort of scenario where you've got the first opening kills, right? It's a 5 versus 3 for a mere millisecond in time that gets converted back to the way of Talon. It's a 3 versus 2 that could have been. But just going for the kill a little bit too earlier on. Always going to understand the risks to try to win the game there, but sometimes just doesn't work your favor, and now Talon will reclaim the lead.
Majestically, yeah, put together. Spots out Francis as well. Now Talon very aware of what could happen around A main after all that util combo.
I mean, Francis is just going to keep resetting all of this utility, making sure that he's staving them off for quite a little bit of time. Yeah, that is a clone. You're correct.
And he still hasn't made a single peep, so still a chance for Killa.
And nice work to bait out the Sonic Sensor as well. You reclaim control of A main. You got to be too careful that you don't get flushed out by the salvos, for example, of Cruz if they want to go back towards the A side. But it looks like the call has been made for Talon here that they want to contest with B. And I'm wondering in this sort of time, as Nongshim, what are you doing to re-get some information? You don't have a drone from Ivy. You have an operator from Danby. So you're going to have to try and figure out something, right? A drone in towards mid. You don't necessarily know if it's teetering towards A or B.
Yeah, well, that
With
might
that,
do it.
you know.
Especially in with the utility now coming out. Oh, Primi though, he's just gonna gate pass all of it on for the sharp blades into the site where Margaret trying to play
20
anchor.
seconds.
Camera as well. And then for the mid-round calling back into the A site. Francis though, so far so good. Puts
10
up the high tide.
seconds.
Jitboy jumps on over. What?
He needed a shoot. He didn't need a Ferrari peek him.
Unfortunate for Francis, but he's still got Ivy around the corner. Down for the trade. Killua keeping the team afloat. Annihilation now just to push Nongshim away. Margaret back in. Sent out the last second on towards Heaven. Danby, operator into angle.
As soon as he makes noise as well, Sensor will get him. And you just got to call for the save here. Another situation where it's an individual member potentially for Nongshim. Had they tackled that a little bit differently, it could have been the round. I mean, Harbor is not a general pick, especially on this map, right? It's not a common pick regardless. You know, some teams toy with it here and there on Icebox, but that wall, it does slow you a little bit. Jitboys has just jumped on through that one and found you. Had you just gone for the shot as Francis, that probably could have been the round.
It's one of those coulda, shoulda, woulda situations. Definitely bites them in the back. Thankfully, they will have enough to buy up or scrounge up some weaponry for the upcoming round.
Oh, he's done him there. Wow. Really nicely done from Talon, though, despite the time. Bleeding quite low. Still eyes on the prize to finish it up. Now, we come into a more stacked ult round of Nongshim, but the weaponry, not the greatest. Couple of pieces that you can certainly work with for sure, but you need to see opener from Darby potentially. All right, he does get out, but the operator, you know, it still looms. Reckoning, Armageddon.
Or at least knowing that it has TP'd away.
Yeah, for sure.
Thinking about it.
I mean, you're still looking just to the early game of Talon in this round as well, making sure they're trying to piece together some sort of information, any more lean of a certain player, right? Again, you're going to confirm that Persia is playing in towards market. There's a couple of bodies in towards mid. You can expect that there's going to be some Cypher bits towards the B site now with that camera there. So if you're Talon, this is the sort of scenario where you got to make a good conscious decision on where you want to try and end up. B split, the name of the game here, and there are 3 members of Nongshim. The thing though, the Reckoning and the Armageddon are on the other side of the map. They are not going to reach towards that B site.
The intensity of the calls right now. Final decision making back into the B site. And Nongshim, they have pieces on the board. Margaret to receive the first.
Play for time. 20 seconds.
20 seconds. And Talon continue forward with their march. Armageddon now at the best possible time. And it puts Talon into a bit of a precarious position, trying to lock down in towards Boathouse, though, at the very least, and they found those kills! Margaret not able to stay alive either! Killua sticks the plant, and it's just Francis and Ivy. They peeked out, and they get shut down. Francis desperately looking for a kill, anything possible, but Talon denying it outright. Look at that spray from Cruz!
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the positions of Ivy's Armageddon there. If I really want to be, you know, pedantic in this sort of scenario, he's trying to get as close as he can to be able to use it, and he has to drop it from outside into the site. Had it been the other way, towards lane probably, he actually could have forced the hand of Talon, but just not close enough because no one on Nongshim there were getting any extra further information up through B main, to actually confirm that Talon were going to be ending towards that B site. Bit of a rough one there. Not a bit of a rough one, a really rough one for Nongshim.
Right. Things are incredibly tense right now, and Killua just keeps up the pressure once again. Meanwhile, in towards A, he got the grab net. Francis trying to get out.
Locating targets.
Again, Talon sending up the stealth drone towards mid. And that's an opening double. Another 5 versus 3. Jit Boys has found both of them, and Darby is on an island by himself. Only good for one. Down with the ship.
Fortunately, the rest of the team might continue to sink as well. Not too bad though, Margaret.
Okay. But it's still a 3 versus 2. You've got a lot of gaps around the map now that Cruz... Can he shift underwards this trapwire? No, he's going to jump into it. And he will get taken down by Persia. Okay, 2 versus 2 now.
Just finds his scalp. So...
Oh, but this is risky, Quack.
Possibly able to turn things around. Yes, still risky. Jit Boys coming back in with the assistance, and both of them wide swing.
Baited by the grav net. That's a real rough one. And now it's Margaret. An idea. Do you try and go for a 1 versus 2? Or do you save the gun for the last round, potentially, the next round?
Attempting to go for it. He's had a life game before.
He's got to have the idea, though, that this position is possible. He has to shift into it. It's confirmed, but it doesn't matter. Chip Boys comes through with a 4K. And now it looks like the realization is there for Talon on how they want to navigate this map on the attacking side. Again, another scenario. It's 4 rounds over to Nongshim, and that's enough to get all the information. That loose bullet at the end there, by the way, ridiculous.
You really begin to feel for the Nongshim core.
Map point, series point, elimination point, Talon to try and survive in this lower bracket. For Nongshim, they would bow out here of stage 1. No extra points accumulated, just 3 on the tally, which means they have to do a lot next stage. But let's see what they can do here, because Dami has sleuthed his way in towards mid.
Well, yes. Still got some guns. That said, though, the stealth drone from Cruz could play detective.
Ooh, gate crash. Eventually going to start to fade here for Danby. And then it's a big decision. What do you do? Send another one? Or just get out? Okay. Yep, just gets out.
Out with the drone as well. So that's kind of force out the utility.
Always through mid.
From Talon.
Drone always through mid. Another avenue for Talon that they can choose to go for if they want to. Now you see a lot of members shooting at that one from Ivy.
Okay, reckoning for info as well.
But what can he do?
Oh, maybe they'll peek out into it to find as many kills as possible. That'd be good for the first. Pops up over to the pop flash, but Primi does get away until he's tagged up. Thigh, though, then looking for the lurk kill. All of a sudden into the A side. Persia had no earthly idea. Danby and Ivy, though, finding shots right back.
3 versus 2 now. Cruz and Jit Boys to get towards the site. Favored Jit Boys here for a plant instead of Cruz, potentially. Get an annihilation on board, but they're not going to juggle that one as Danby sends in the dimensional drift for all the information.
Right, just keep it invested as well, so he's not able to really pull out utility just yet, but I assume soon enough. Got a great chance to... Yep. Let that one rip. Straight off through into heaven, and now you know that Abby's right in hell. Cruz finds a shot, looks for the flick onto Margaret, but Margaret able to snap one right back. Accuracy in spades. And it's just Jit Boys left. Needs to come up with the goods. He's got the first one so far. Can he find the clutch? It's a hopping Ivy! B-hopping off to the sides with a right click. It keeps Nongshim in the game.
Call that a kangaroo hop in my neck of the woods on that one. He's just bouncing up and down to try and get the kill with 10 HP. By the way, it was Jit Boys that went for the plant at the end there to make sure the annihilation was available, but it didn't actually cocoon anybody. No pretty butterflies in the round. As Nongshim finally will get another round back, but my oh my, these are certainly getting tense, aren't they? 12-9. There was 4 chances total, now 3.
Yeah, that's the other thing though. Talon continues to afford guns.
Yeah, I mean they've done well to get 4 in a row, right? To permit themselves a couple buys with loss bonus. They'll have another one after this.
Armageddon.
If they don't end it here, because then you also do have to contend with the idea of there's eventually a big ult round that can be possible if Cruz holds it and Killua gets out the Steel Garden in a couple.
Depending on how the situations play out right now, at least. It's
quick.
just a conceded A main and a quick hit from Primi, but instantly gunned down by Ivy as well.
Armageddon used nice and early from Talon towards the top of the A site, but maybe a little bit too early because it doesn't find anything. Meanwhile, a pivot back towards the B site for a couple of these members as Margaret is the lone soldier there, going to call for Francis to assist. So they've got some pieces at this B site.
And so far, Margaret has done his job of putting up those cages at the right times. Meanwhile, for Talon, looking for gaps to slip in.
And they would have a 4 versus 2 at this B side if they wanted to try and slip in there nice and early. As the barrier mesh fades, that's going to be the call for Darby to start to think that mid might have been exposed. So he starts to reposition. This, with 50 seconds now, is a bit of an interesting one.
Wow. Tree being checked as well. Nongshim doing their due diligence right now.
Yeah.
Down to the anchor
Information.
positions as well as the flank checks. Killua so far so good on the entry.
Process needs help.
Whoa! And he puts up a big wall just to keep himself alive in the corner, but it gets spotted out by Talon. Now further kills being found. Cruz cutting off on the rotations, and it's just Ivy left. Does he find the clutch? Salvos might be back in 3 seconds, but
Hello.
the TP as well. And that's just further distractions until Cruz swings out from the back. Talon sends Nongshim packing!
13 good rounds from Talon in that one. It took a little bit on both halves for them to wake up and figure out how to do some mid-rounding adaptations on what Nongshim Red Force were trying to send their way. A team of Talon that's had their trials and tribulations through this stage. It's looked awkward, it's looked bad, but it's also looked pretty good, and they are still on a pathway here to be able to potentially go towards champions. You know that this was a series that delivered some pretty damn good Valorant from both teams in a lot of those rounds, but this time Nongshim Red Force will bid adieu to you in this stage, picking up no more championship points, which means, Quack, everything for them relies on delivery in stage 2 for their chances to stay in VCT Pacific.
Just to, make it forward. Well, that said, commiserations to Nongshim, but still a huge round of applause for Talon. It was rocky, it was back and forth. Nongshim tested them all the way through. A lot of progression from this team. I mean, a sudden comp switch up onto Ascent, and they definitely kept Talon very much so invested in the game. I mean, lovely handshakes between both coaches, both coaching staffs.
Yeah. Just let the teams kind of plan towards that one. Talon, congratulations. That's a hard-fought series.
Yeah, I mean, you could really see them heave a huge sigh of relief as soon as they found that win. It came so close. But the adjustments, the wake-up call from Frost being called somewhere in the first half, they just had so much at stake, and they've managed to pull it off.
Yeah.
How does Talon then continue looking forward? We don't entirely know. They're continuing forward with this win-loss pattern, but that said,
True.
it's a triumphant win, and we'll toss it over onto the stage for the winning interview.
Huge congrats to our winners today. Now, Primi and Cruz, please join me for the interview. You got number 6, number 7, lucky 7. 네, 탈론의 프리미 선수 그리고 크루즈 선수 만나보도록